am excited for today's Volume 7 finale. Let there be light. It was a little confusing. No stalling today. Zero stalling today. We lock in and we read whatever the fuck this betrayal was, because I have no idea how to interpret that. All I know, you know what I was thinking? Maybe we really did steal fucking the world, because you guys have not been able to shut up since the beginning. The Audrey deserves the world deserves Audrey. I'm like, what kind of shit is that? That don't make sense. But now it makes perfect sense. Now that the world, i.e. German Sparrow, the world has perfect, like, humanity and all that, now I see where that shit comes from. Maybe we, like, I don't know, man. Maybe Adam in some way actually did change him. Easy, there's a lot of music changes. Dude, we're gonna fucking lock in today, brother. I got you, Cammy. I am ready. I'm still on the phone, so a little slow. No, it's okay. It's okay. We're good. We're chill. We're ready. We are locked and loaded, bro. I wanted to keep... Dude, it was so weird. Last night, I wanted to keep reading. But I was like, maybe I can just read like half of a chapter. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't. It's like, I owe it to you guys to do it live. Like, we got to do it and experience it together. So let's read the Volume 7 finale. And then we read all of Volume 8 today. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding about that part. All right. Let's get right into it. Zero stalling today. Chapter 1345. Meeting again. Dude, I'm telling you, there's no shot. Somehow, in some way, shape, or form, we gave the world humanity. They somehow enter the gray fog, took him away, gave him humanity. Klein turned around and looked at the familiar yet unfamiliar face. This is so fucking weird. Let me loop the song already. At the yet unfamiliar face, he had imagined all kinds of attacks on Utopia, but he had never expected such a scene to occur. If Amon had parasitized the marionette German Sparrow, then with Klein's current status and the spirit worms on Safari Castle, he definitely wouldn't have immediately discovered the problem, and if Zaratul were to swap the spirit body threads, he could only temporarily hide it from him. Furthermore, he needed help from an angel like a knowledge emperor or a servant of unconcealment to ensure the element of surprise in the sudden attack. Only the humanity provided by a spectator could slowly ferment without revealing any abnormalities on the surface. No, I know. It's when it's not like you to explain too much. I know. Don't worry, music change. I know. To prevent such a situation, can you guess I'm already kind of reading slow? To prevent such a situation, he could only sever the spirit body threads and allow the marionette to deteriorate till it died. That way, regardless of whether it had any humanity in it or not, it would ultimately cease to exist. Unfortunately, Clyde had never heard of such methods before. All he did was guard against the invasion of virtual persona of his marionettes. This might be the power of a visionary, giving life to everything virtual and immaterial, a unique sense of humanity. The carved and cold face was reflected in Klein's eyes, and he felt a force pushing him away. Yeah, no, we're recording. No, yeah, we didn't stall. You guys aren't used to that, huh? He immediately fell backwards, falling the layers. Oh, I saw this in the artwork. Yeah, when he was falling. He immediately fell backwards, falling from the layers of the ruins of the old metropolis out of the fog of history. During this process, he wanted to control himself, but there was nothing he could do. This is because the wooden stake at his heart... This was because the wooden stake at his heart had sealed all his beyonder powers. Okay? With a thought, Klein looked at German Sparrow and snapped his fingers. Paw. The worm of spirit in Safari Castle received his will and gave up the marionette spirit body threads. They also picked up the Staff of Stars and prepared to give Klein a fatal blow so as to commit suicide. After his main body completely died, Klein would be able to revive above the gray fog and escape from his predicament. And that would be his last revive. No shot, so that means he has no more revives. He no longer held any hope after finding out that Amon was the mastermind behind the scene. At this moment, a stone square floating in the void appeared beneath Klein's feet. Black stone pillars rose up and propped up a grand and holy cathedral enveloping Klein inside. It's the Corpse Cathedral. The Corpse Cathedral, Adam's Corpse Cathedral, the divine kingdom of a visionary. Oh, we didn't talk about that with Wiz. We didn't even talk about the Corpse Cathedral. That was a pretty cool moment. Countless bolts of silver lightning smote down from Sacrificial Castle, penetrating the fog of history and struck the cathedral but failed to shake it at all. At the same time, in an ancient palace, the figure sitting in the full seat suddenly collapsed to the side, forming a vortex formed from transparent maggots. The vortex extended out slippery and strange tentacles, crazily smacking the surroundings, overturning the junk pile, and destroying the long model table. We're just destroying everything. Klein's avatar had lost contact with his true body, and because his true body hadn't really died, they had lost control and went crazy just like Zaratul from before. I'm following so far. In the old metropolis before the first epoch... Wow, reading slow really does help. In the old metropolis before the first epoch, German Sparrow, who was wearing a half-top hat and a black trench coat, looked up at Sacrificial Castle, his expression mixed. He was basically a corpse. After his spirit body threads were abandoned, he naturally couldn't maintain his existence. The only thing Adam gave him was humanity. There was no envisioned life for him, as to what result in the discovery of there being something wrong with German Sparrow. What the fuck led him, though, to betraying him, though? If all he got was humanity. What a surprise. German Sparrow slowly collapsed as he looked at the rooms in the old metropolis. He died in the ruins. So that was his last revive. Klein's feet landed on the ground and stood up in the middle of the cathedral. He saw that every arch of each pillar was embedded with the skulls of different races. Most of them were pale white in color as they were packed densely together, staring at the intruder with their holy eyes. On the walls, windows, and doors of the cathedral, transparent, distorted, and painful faces appeared, separating the interior from the outside world. And in front of the cathedral stood a cross that was more than 100 meters tall. In front of the cross were rows of black fuse. Adam, who was wearing... Oh shit, Adam, here we go. Adam, who was wearing a simple white robe and a half-pale gold beard, was standing under the cross with a silver cross hanging from his neck. This is so fucking cool, dude. Him and fucking Amon have been such enigmas from the very beginning, dude. Like, what the fuck? His expression was warmed and his eyes were limped, as though he was only inviting Klein to listen to the scriptures. Klein lowered his head and looked at the cross-shaped wooden stake that was stuck in his chest. He slowly walked to the first few... Wait, sorry. Heart is on the left side. He slowly walked to the first few and sat in the middle. For a true mythical creature formed from many worms of spirit, the wound on its chest wasn't fatal. It wasn't fatal. The main purpose of the ancient bloody cross stake was to seal his beyond powers. If not for the true God standing in front of him. So Amon doesn't want him dead. Or not Amon. Adam doesn't want him dead. If not for the true God standing in front of him, Klein could have used his physical strength to pull out the wooden stake and remove the seal. At this moment, he didn't make any attempts because he was afraid that he would turn the thought of not daring to... I know what's happening. Amon and Adam are teaming up to make Klein the perfect, like, the Great One. Like, they want to make him, like, the perfect vessel for the Great One to awaken in him. Because no one wants to take on that risk, right? But if they can, like, nurture a Beyonder to be one, then I think that works. I feel like that's the only, like, reasonable explanation. Not daring to do it. At this moment, he didn't make any attempts because he was afraid that he would turn the thoughts of not... What the fuck? Did I skip something? No, I didn't. Okay. I didn't expect you to directly interfere in this matter. If you wanted to deal with me, you didn't have to wait until today. Klein looked at his bloodstained shirt and seriously voiced his doubts. He wasn't afraid at all, as if he was certain that Adam wouldn't kill him. Adam held the silver cross pendant with one hand and calmly said, "Before now, you were able to be quite some use in many ways." He took 2 steps forward and continued with limped eyes. "When Amon came to steal the Corpse Cathedral, I made a deal with him. By helping me obtain the first blasphemy slate, I'll help him capture you." Oh, is that so? Is that so? Klein was instantly enlightened. Oh yeah, so we're fucking cooked. We're cooked. It's GG. On the one hand, Adam didn't wish to be obstructed by existences like the true creator when he became a god, and on the other hand, he wanted to obtain the first blasphemy slate. Therefore, he used the unshotted crucifix and other methods to give Klein an impetus to head off for the Giant King's court, open the door to the chamber where Cecile was sleeping, and attract the attention of the true creator and other existences. On the other hand, he used his brother Amon to steal the first blasphemy slate at that critical moment, so that's why he stole it. And to capture Klein, who was about to obtain preliminary control of Sacrificial Castle, it would definitely be most appropriate to have a visionary arrange the developments for him. Although Amon and Adam usually appear distant, they are still brothers and can work together more easily. Klein nodded slightly and looked at the stained glass that has distorted faces. I also didn't expect Zaratul to cooperate with you. Isn't he afraid of becoming food for Amon? Wow, they are talking a lot. We're getting a lot of exposition here. When Klein established Utopia, he had considered Amon's attacks and Zaratul's destruction. However, he never expected that they would work together in a certain way. From his point of view, the chances of Zaratul completely siding with the Mother Tree of Desire were higher than this, unless Adam had unknowingly arranged such a development for him. I need to lower the volume down a bit. From his point of view, the chances are to completely siding with the Mother Tree of Desire were higher than this, unless Adam had knowingly arranged such a development for him. Adam limped eyes showed sympathy. Music changed soon. No, I know. When it's he explains too much, right? Klein said. To him, you became a great old one. Oh. Adam limped eyes showed sympathy. To him, you becoming a great old one means that he will definitely perish. However, if Amon becomes one, as long as he expresses his loyalty, he can still retain his present level and status. A Lord of the Mysteries still requires an Attendant of Mysteries. Oh. No, I know. Music change is coming up. Yeah, no, it's coming up. Therefore, he chose to cooperate with me during this process if he can seize the opportunity to turn you into a marionette before I do, using you to enter Sephira Castle and become the owner of Sephira. Then he has the right to demand an opportunity to face Antigonus at Everknight's place and have an ultimate showdown with Amon. On the contrary, he would completely admit defeat and pledge allegiance to Amon. On this point, he was very decisive. It doesn't seem like your style to explain so much. Music change. I think this is the most, like, unironically, as we do our music change, this is the most I think Adam has ever spoken. Compared to all the volumes we've ever read and all the interactions with Adam, this is the most he's ever read. I mean, this is the most he's ever spoken. This is so fucking cool. Get ready, Ra. On this point, he was very decisive. It doesn't seem like your style to explain so much. Klein replied casually before frowning, you don't need all the sequence 1 beyond characteristics of the corresponding pathway to become a great old one. Oh, wait, you don't? You don't need all the sequence 1 beyond characteristics of the corresponding pathway to become a great old one. He had deduced this from his relationship between the ancient sun god and the 8 kings of angels. However, he believed that one had to first become a great old one or a quasi one before divining the characteristics. I'm gonna lower the volume down a smidge, just a little smidge. Adam replied gently, for neighboring pathways, all that's needed is a uniqueness and a sequence 1 beyond characteristic. It's easy to lose control if one forcibly occupies more. Therefore, after Zaratul pledged allegiances to Amon, he still has a chance to become a Kings of Angel. And he isn't able to pledge allegiances to you because he can't separate a sequence 2 avatar like those from the Marauder pathway. Wait. He can't separate a sequence 2 avatar like those from the Marauder pathway and then stealing his main oh shit, wait, sorry, kind of confusing. And then stealing his main body, spirit body, consciousness, and psyche over turning and okay, yes, I get it. Turning an avatar into the main body. This was a qualitative difference between a Seer's marionette and a Marauder's Worm of Time. The former involved spirit body threads, while the latter relied on themselves. Furthermore, the reason the Marauder Angel could do this was because their sequence 2 was the Trojan horse of destiny. Just as Klein nodded, he suddenly saw Adam turn his body, revealing something beneath the cross. It was a gray stone slab. There were many mottled marks on its surface, making it look rather ancient. This was very similar to the first Blasphemy Slate, but it didn't have the abnormally ancient feeling to it. It also had... I feel like Adam gave a hint to how we become the Lord of the Mysteries. He said he can't be one unless he has an Attendant of the Mysteries. But now that fucking the world has humanity, he becomes our Attendant of Mysteries. And then Klein proceeds and bees the Lord of the Mysteries. I think that's how it works. I think Gurman is a double agent in this part. The only way to fool them is if we pretend we're on this side. Right? That's how it goes. What do you mean what? I'm spitting facts over here. I'm spitting facts. Keep reading. It also had words that looked like the source of all languages. They were written with the names and sequences of potions and formulas. Oh, the second Blasphemy Slate. Wait, we haven't seen this in like a long... We've only seen the first one. The second blasphemingly said, Klein asked in surprise. His gaze quickly swept across the stone slab. He didn't read the first few paragraphs, but instead looked at the last few lines. He just goes straight to the end. His intuition told him that there were very important pieces of information there. There's no need to rush. Amon has to complete the ritual and become a sequencer before stealing your fate. Oh, so we got time. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to withstand the identity as Sephira Castle's owner, and therefore, it's best to let you continue staying in my kingdom. Adam acted as though he was counseling a what? A repentant? Kill me, Klein muttered inwardly. At this moment, his figure out the last few lines. God Almighty, Creator, Maker, the Oh shit, what's happening here? God Almighty, Creator, Maker, the omnipotent and omniscient, the Lord of the astral world. Okay, this is getting kind of hype. This is getting kind of hype. This is kind of hype. CFK. No, he didn't die. He's still here. Song a bit louder on our end. You mean raise it? Raise it more? I can raise it more. Sea of Chaos, visionary uniqueness, the sun. Well, I mean, even though he's gonna come back, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back. No, he's coming back. Just like Trissy. Let me make sure the song is looped. He's gonna come back just like Trissy any minute now. Okay. Sea of Chaos, visionary uniqueness, the sun uniqueness, plus tyrant unique. God damn, fucking every single goddamn uniqueness. Sea of Chaos, visionary uniqueness, the sun uniqueness, tyrant uniqueness, white tower uniqueness. What the fuck is white tower? The hanged man uniqueness, authority beyond her characteristics, plus one white angel beyond her characteristic, plus one thunder god beyond her characteristic, plus one omniscient eye beyond her characteristic. God damn, is a big ass ingredient. Plus one dark angel beyond her characteristic, Lord of the Mysteries. I'm sorry. Lord of the Mysteries, Kings of Space-Time, Beacon of Destiny, Embodiment of Sephira Castle, Dominator of the Spirit World. Sephira Cloud. Dude, I am so overwhelmed. There is so much terminology happening right now. I feel like I'm reading a glossary right now. Sephira Castle plus the full uniqueness plus error uniqueness plus door uniqueness plus one attendant of the mysteries beyond her characteristics plus one worm of time beyond her characteristic plus one key of start. Dude, I can already see the fucking dunk hole. Holy shit, dude. Plus one kings of star beyond her characteristic. Upon seeing this, Klein turned his head to look at Adam and ask in puzzlement, why are you showing me this? Wouldn't it be safer to hypnotize me and put me to sleep until Amon becomes a god? Adam's eyes were clear as he said with a warm expression, to be frank, if the other party wasn't Amon, then I'd be more willing to help you become a dominator of the spirit world. We have too many things in common. In a sense, we are old friends who have met before. With that said, he smiled and said, we meet again, mysteries. Oh shit. We are old friends we have met before. With that said, he smiled and said, we meet again, mysteries. Oh shit. Dude, we literally just combined like you just add every fucking uniqueness known to man, every fucking characteristic known to man, and it's like with wait, hold up. Adam is Melissa? Wait, you guys deleted us so quickly? It's Melissa. Adam is... Who is Adam? Geek Easy? Who the I don't fucking know. Who the fuck's... Dude, hold, let me sip my coffee. Oh! 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 Wait. I talked about this with Wiz. Wait. Shut up! Don't tell me! No! Sorry. I talked about this with Wiz, and I think our Volume 5 discussion, because was that the Mysteries reveal? Who the fuck said that? Who the fuck were we looking? Don't tell me. No, it's okay. Let me read this again. We have too many things in common. In a sense, we are old friends we have met before. With that said, he smiled and said, we meet again. Adam. Oh, so Adam is an Adam. God damn, who the fuck said that? I fucking know. I'ma unhide Unknown's messages after I say it. I'ma unhide it. I'ma unhide his message. No, I can't. I'ma just read the title of the next chapter and see if that helps me think of something. Chapter 1346 is called The Specialness of a Visionary. Oh! Ancient Sun God. Ancient Sun God, when Klein was looking at the origins of the Unshadowed Crucifix, ASG looked up at Klein and said, mysteries. Yes, right? Yes? Yes? I got it? No fucking way. Did I get it? I got it? Wait. That doesn't make any fucking sense. How the fuck is ASG Adam? No. That makes no fucking... Wasn't he killed? WEZA, thanks, man. Wait, no, but was it... Ancient Sun God was... like Eden. And then from his body, the like darkness looking baby was the true creator. I'm sorry, is this like some weird Almabella Lilith shit where like the whole time you think it was someone and it was somebody else all the time? How the fuck do people like how the fuck does Cuttlefish think of this? Cammy? Amon's brother is his father? I say tomorrow we'll only read 5 chapters or Easy's brain will melt and Easy's brain will melt. Wait, really? So that's who it was? Easy finally cooking. Never thought I'd see the day. Oh man, that's pretty good. There are many ways to revive yourself through the pathways. Read my last message. Oh wait. Too many things in common means they're transmigrators. Wait, no. It was hypothesized that ASG was the first transmigrator. That was covered before, right? That was covered before. It was Klein. No, it's not a spoiler. Klein was the first transmigrator. Roselle was the second transmigrator. And the third suspected transmigrator was Ancient Sun God. No, that's been said before. Not a spoiler, Hope? No, it's not a spoiler. No, it's not a spoiler. That's been... No, I know. No, that was brought up before. Klein speculated... No, this was brought up a long time ago. Yeah. He, like, Ancient Sun... Thank you. Ancient Sun God came from Chernobyl. Bro, just read next chapter, first line. That. Oh, man, that's good. That's good. Chapter 1346 is called The Specialness of a Visionary. The only way I would have remembered that was if I did not have that discussion with Wiz. Well, like, because I remember Wiz was like, should I say that? And then you guys like fact checked him, and you're like, no, yeah, it was revealed that ASG looked up and said mysteries. Harsh, I don't think he did something else happened. Okay, mysteries. The last time Klein, it literally says it right here. Mysteries. The last time Klein heard of this title was from the consciousness of the true creator that had descended. The penultimate instance was from the ancient sun god from history, the city of Silver's creator. In a sense, the two of them were equal. The true creator was equivalent to the ancient sun god, evil spirit, after retrieving Cecir's personality. I need to lower the volume down a smidge. And in a sense, the two of them were equal. The true creator was equivalent to the ancient sun god, evil spirit, after retrieving Cecir's personality. However, unlike before, Klein wasn't flustered when he heard this matter of addressing him. Neither his heart trembled nor his teeth chattered. How the fuck do we escape this, bro? At this moment, he felt as if he had finally seen a suspended rock fall to the ground. Of course, he wasn't that calm either. To a certain extent, surprise, shock, and disbelief were inevitable. It was because of the words Adam isn't necessarily Adam from Ari Hawk that he had already come up with many speculations and was mentally prepared. No fucking way he figured that out just from that part. We meet again. Mysteries. Adam is equivalent to the ancient sun god. Or is this the resurrection contingency of the ancient sun god? So, he resurrected in his son. So Adam was originally Adam, but then ASG woke up in him? You understand the formulas from the... I do not understand the formulas from the last chapter. That was a lot. Cammy, please explain. I did not get that part. It's okay, so it's not explicit yet. We'll find out right now. I think we'll figure it out right now. Read them. Well, I mean, to become a great old one, you literally just need everything. That's the way I interpret it. If you want to be a great old one, you need everything, even things that aren't part of the neighboring pathways. And then it brought up the second blasphemy slate. So I guess that makes sense for going beyond the pathways, right? And they sensed the two of them were equal. At this moment, he felt as if he had finally seen a suspended rock fall to the ground. Of course, he wasn't that calm either. To a certain extent, surprise, shock, and disbelief were inevitable. It was because of the words, Adam isn't necessarily Adam, from Ari Hog, that he had already come up with the many speculations and was mentally prepared. Great old ones need the uniqueness and a single sequence 1 characteristic of each pathway, plus the corresponding Sephira. But it's like, how do you even, like, gather all that, dude? Might as well become the OC at that point by taking everything. Like, would it really be so bad to become the Great Old One at that point? You need all the uniquenesses and sequence 1 characteristics from all neighboring pathways from a group and the Sephira. To become a Great Old One, one must be a sequence 0 and uniqueness and a sequence 1 beyonder of the neighboring pathways and a certain... That's so much, bro. It's like... How the fuck is Klein gonna do all that, bro? Like, what? That's just too much. It's like, it's so hard to follow, bro. Oh my god. I got it. No, we're good. I'm a little overwhelmed, but we're good. Oh my god. It keeps getting more complicated, man. We meet again. Mysteries. Adam is equivalent to the ancient sun god, or is it the resurrection contingency of the ancient sun god? He knows of this, but he still wishes to revive his father, so that's why Medici calls him a zealot. Oh, that's why he's a zealot. Thoughts flashed through Klein's mind as he gained a brand new understanding of certain matters. It was no wonder Adam never prompted teachings about himself. He only spread what was left of the ancient sun god. Klein originally believed that this was due to the special trait of a visionary and how he could use his uniqueness to create a bunch of realistic believers as anchors. This way, he didn't need to build a congregation, but from the looks of it, it was probably one of the reasons. After 2 seconds of silence, he looked into Adam's pure eyes and said, "You are the ancient sun god." Adam maintained his warm smile and said in an illuminating tone, "Don't you think I'm the most unique among the 8 kings of angels?" Shut the fuck up. He's hyping himself too much. After reading the contents of the second blasphemy slate regarding the Great Old Ones, you should be able to clearly understand this point. Indeed, Klein nodded, indicating that he could tell. Oh, the 5 kings of angels related to the omnipotence and omniscience, you are the only one with a uniqueness. According to the mysticism knowledge that Klein currently possessed, when the City of Silver's creator was still alive, the 8 kings of angels were in the same state, yes? Dark Angel Sasir digested 2 sequence 1 characteristics. The Hanged Man controlled the first blasphemy slate, allowing him to use a portion of the power of the Chaos Sea. Therefore, he was heaven's deputy, the left hand of God, a kings among the kings of angels. White Angel Acusis contains 2 sequence 1 characteristics of the Sun pathway. Wind Angel Leodero, Angel of Wisdom Hera Bergen, Angel of Fate Ouroboros also possess 2 sequence 1 beyonder characteristics of their respective pathways. Angel of Time Amon, Red Angel Medici were the ones with a uniqueness of their own pathways and a corresponding sequence 1 beyonder characteristic. Angel of Imagination Adam has respected pathway uniquenesses and 2 sequence 1 beyonder characteristics. This didn't seem problematic at first glance, but it appeared strange on careful thought. Angel of Time Amon and Red Angel Medici didn't belong to the 5 pathways of the omnipotence and omniscience, and there was no problem about the ancient sun god using different methods to give them their uniqueness. However, Adam was different, visionary belonging to one of the 5 pathways of omnipotence and omniscience, and the corresponding uniqueness was one of the found... Oh my god. There's so much happening right now. There is so much exposition right now. I'm not used to this much fucking exposition, dude. Or I'm only on page 2 of this fucking chapter. Visionary belonging to one of the 5 pathways of omnipotence and omniscience, and the corresponding uniqueness was one of the foundations needed by ancient sun god to become a great old one. In other words, this was equivalent to one of the 3 sequence 1 beyond characteristics needed of a sequence 0. How could it be randomly separated? After all, Sasir, as the deputy of heaven, the left hand of God, didn't attain the uniqueness of the hangman's pathway, much less Wind Angel Leodero, Angel of Wisdom Hera Bergen, and White Angel Acusis. Klein originally believed that the ancient sun god had sensed the awakening of the primordial one. Oh? So he had deliberately used the method of having children to separate one of the 5 uniquenesses from himself taking the initiative to lower his level to resist the corruption of invasion of the primordial one. No. I'm hanging in. I'm on my last line right now. This was probably the thoughts of other deities and kings of angels back then. When he heard Arihawk say Adam isn't necessarily Adam, Klein felt that there might be a deeper secret hidden in this matter and came up with I was so confused last stream, bro. And came up with some guesses. Previous message. Basically, ancient sun god needed everything from the 5 pathways, but for some reason he gave the uniqueness to Adam. And him giving the uniqueness to Adam was what allowed him to become ASG in Adam's body. Is that the explanation, right? That's how it happened. Because when he had his sons, he gave uniqueness to Adam, and because he gave uniqueness to Adam, that's why Adam became the ancient sun god. It's something that shouldn't happen, hence why Adam is special. You shouldn't even do that in the first place. Not one bit. Keep reading. Oh man, there's so much exposition right now. This is oh my god, it's kind of overwhelming. I'm not even gonna lie. This is a little overwhelming. After witnessing the last few lines of the second blasphemy slate, he found it even stranger. This was because a uniqueness was one of the foundations of becoming a great old one. If the Sephira was the foundation, then the corresponding uniqueness were weight-bearing columns. It would be deeply problematic no matter which one was lost. If the ancient sun god wanted to lower his level, the better choice would be to separate the sequence one beyond her characteristics. That would be relatively safer. You want to do this yesterday? I know. I'm so glad. I'm so glad I did it. I would have been so over it. I was like, dude, I'd be like, I don't get it. I mean, I still don't get it, but I would have been like even more, I don't get it. Oh man. Dressed in a simple white robe and wearing a thick and golden beard, Adam walked to Klein's side and turned around. He looked at the blasphemy slate and said, a visionary has something very special. Normal sequence zeros are made up of the uniquenesses and 3 sequence 1 beyond characteristics. Missing any one of them prevents them from being considered a true deity. They can only be considered a kings of angels. After becoming a sequence 0, a visionary is able to split a visionary, so this is what makes them special. A visionary is able to split 2 sequence 1 beyond their characteristics and replace the corresponding characteristics via envisioning. The object produced by envisioning is real enough. It can work perfectly under the framework of the... I'm sorry, so this is like you're making a characteristic? I thought you can't make nor destroy. The object produced by envisioning it is real enough. It can work perfectly under the framework of the uniqueness and a sequence 1 beyond a characteristic, allowing a visionary's level and strength to not decrease. The 2 real separated sequence 1 beyond characteristics can be combined with one's other identity or a certain life form that's envisioned. It can make them become an author with complete freedom. I thought like the one like rule in this series, like literally the laws of Beyonder characteristics, you can neither create nor destroy. Even in Grizel's travels, when like I keep forgetting his name, when he became a Beyonder within Grizel's travels, so he technically necessarily wasn't a Beyonder, and that's why like I thought that was established. But did he just envision them? Is not really creating, but still broken. What the, even still though, like the fact that it's like real to a certain extent, it can make them become an author with complete freedom when necessarily one can use a certain method or some medias to transform him into the true form. Oh, and that's how he became the true form. And for the omnipotent and omniscient, he can create a uniqueness that's borders between reality and illusionary to maintain his state as long as it doesn't exceed the necessary limitations. This is the relationship between Dragon of Imagination Ankwalt and his children, Dragon of Nightmare Al Zahud. I once thought that the Seer and the Marauder pathways were the most bizarre. From the looks of it, they can't compare to a Spectator. Dude, Audrey's gonna be so fucking OP in book 2, dude. Holy shit. Be careful, and I know she's in book 2 because if she's in the MMO game and the MMO game takes place in between the two, ain't no shot she ain't in book 2. Sai, be careful of the spectator. Klein completely resolved the question on his mind. He also understood why Dragon of Imagination Ankwald had arranged for 008 to meet Grizel's travels. Why? Once they met, 008's goal, which was originated from the Dragon of Nightmare Alzahud, was awakening and became the Dragon of Imagination Ankwald at a lower... Oh, so it went down a level. And become the Dragon of Imagination Ankwald at a lower level. Then, this resurrected ancient god would use the negative persona sealed behind the bronze door to activate the Chaos Sea's powers, instantly reaching the level of the strongest kings of angels below that of a... Oh my god. Below that of a true deities. With such a foundation, he had the chance to compete with Adam for the position... All to fight him? With such a foundation, he had the chance to compete with Adam for the position of visionary and completely revive. It's simpler, neater, and cleaner compared to the Black Emperor's resurrection. Klein nodded slightly and said, the relationship between Dragon of Imagination and the Dragon of Nightmare. Adam sat down beside Klein. Yes. Dude, how the fuck is Klein gonna, like, unalive himself, come back to become Lord of the Mysteries? It was all that was a resurrection plan. Like everything within Grizel's travels was in a way for Dragon of Imagination Ankwald to come down, stir the... Oh, and because the Chaos Sea is a Sephiroth, he'd be able to compete with Adam. Except Adam saw through it and beat him to it. However, dude, I need to see like a lore video where they just explain it. Like, I need to see like LOTM explained. Like, I need to watch a video because I feel like even when I finish reading book 1, I'm like, oh my, it's like it's still too much. However, I've never read anything this like in depth and like, oh my god. I'm telling you, I grew up watching Naruto. That was my horizons. That was like my ceiling back in the day, you know? In One Piece, and all the powers, hockey. Whenever something wasn't explained, hockey was the answer. Now it's like, this is a lot, man. Like, you guys can't blame me for not understanding this, right? It ain't that complicated. Dot trust cap, bro. However, the Dragon of Imagination hadn't been corrupted, and he had the characteristics of other pathways, putting him in a poor condition. All he could do was separate an author, otherwise he would have directly lost control. Klein ignored Adam beside him and looked at the second blasphemy slate in front of him. What's the difference between this and a Marauder avatar? If Amon can become an error, he too can create at least 2 sequence 1 avatars. You don't need to understand the details as long as you get the gist of it. I get the gist of it. That is true. I do get the gist of it. But I don't understand like all the complexities behind it though. Right? Just reread a couple dozen times. I know when I reread it, I'll get it a lot more. Hopefully. When we finish rereading all the physical book series, by the time we watch the full in 2035, I think we'll be good. Adam leaned forward and simply explained, the avatar and the main body are still the same, but they are located in different areas. Does that mean that the sequence 1 that's envisioned is completely separated from the real body and can be considered another persona? Only by using some method or using some medium can one awaken. Klein asked thoughtfully, you awakened when you became a visionary? No. Adam looked straight ahead and replied with a gentle expression, when I perished and true was born. Klein asked in surprise, was no one suspicious? If the deities knew that the ancient sun god had long been resurrected in Adam, the history of the 4th epoch would most likely be besieged of the Solomon Empire, the Twilight Hermit Order, and the Amon family. Apart from true knowing... Who is true here? In this... Who is true? Apart from true knowing about... What is true in this context? Apart from true knowing about this, perhaps only Evernight had her suspicions. Adam said, his voice neither fast nor slow, I distinguish myself as a zealot wanting my father to awaken in my body. It is not difficult for kings of angels for the visionary pathway to do so. Then met, oh, the true creator. Oh, okay. The fact that, because that was throwing me off. Thank you. I was like, why? Like, just say true creator. Okay, apart from true. Okay, apart from true creator. Got it. Sorry, you see, look, that's how out of it I am right now. Like, who the fuck is true? Oh, true creator. I wonder who true is. Then, like, it literally needs to be, like, actually, like, verbally explained to me now. Otherwise, I'm just not gonna know. Then Medici Klein suddenly felt pity for the Red Angel. Thinking up to this point, he lowered his head to look at the bloodstained wooden stake on his chest. He felt that he had deserved more sympathy. Adam said calmly, it was a necessary sacrifice. Why do you think he can remain alive for so many years after becoming an evil spirit without being discovered? Why? Klein fell silent for 2 seconds before asking, are you going to let me wait just like this? You can also choose to leave this corpse cathedral. Bizarro Toad will be waiting for you at the entrance. In your present state, you can only become his marionette, Adam said without any emotion. Klein fell silent as he read the remaining contents of the second blasphemy slate. In the fog sea, the dawn silently sailed through the undiluting blue waves. Bernadette suddenly opened her eyes and sat up. She frowned and picked up an item on the table. This item was completely golden in color, and there were mysterious symbols engraved on its surface, making it look like a miniature water flask. Oh, this was the sealed artifact 005 Magic Wishing Lamp. Bernadette held the wishing lamp and bowed her head as she chanted an honorific name. The fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious... Oh, is she gonna make a wish? The mysterious ruler above the great fog, the king of yellow and black who wields good luck. I can't believe I wanted to read this yesterday. Oh, thank God I stopped. It's like I needed that break. Poor Hope getting ignored. Yes, Bernadette will make her third wish. Wait. Is he confirming or denying? Chat, I lie. I don't read for the end of volume 7. Wait. I don't want to read the whole thing just in case. Or was he trolling? Joking? Is he gonna make her third wish? Because I know once you make your third wish is GG. Chapter 1347. Let me put this right here. Chapter 1347 is called Pillar. Above the great fog in the ancient palace, besides the full seed, read the whole thing. Yes, Bernadette made her third wish and blow up on the spot. Such a reasonable development. Blah! Oh, I can see that happening. Chapter 1347 is called The Pillar. Above the great fog in the ancient palace, besides the fool, she'll be like, I was the trigger. Sorry, that's a... If you guys know what I'm referencing, then good for you. She was like, I was a trigger. Above the great fog in the ancient palace, besides the full seat, a prayer point of light expanded to produce a rippling halos. It was as though someone had suddenly drawn the curtains in a dark sealed room, allowing sunlight to shine in, piercing into the eyes of the sleeping one. No, it's a Chainsaw Man. The whirlpool of maggots, which had already quieted down, once again went berserk as it began to flail the slippery and strangled tentacles. Klein's gaze swept past the parts that were related to the Lord of the Mysteries, and he read the subsequent contents of the slate. Oh, so this is how to be a great old one for Lord of the Mysteries? Related to the Lords of the Mysteries, and he read the subsequent contents of the slate. Okay, so become a Lord of the Mysteries. Eternal darkness, singularity of all space, time, and one. Okay, that was 3 things. Eternal darkness, singularity of all space, time, and one. River of eternal darkness plus darkness uniqueness plus deaf eternal sleeper uniqueness plus twilight giant uniqueness plus 1 knights of misfortune beyond your characteristic plus 1 pale emperor beyond your characteristic plus 1 hand of God beyond your characteristic plus the goddess of origins plus the mother of all broad hive of filth plus broad hive plus mother uniqueness plus the uniqueness plus the moon uniqueness plus the nature walker beyond her character. Bro, I'm at like 16 here. Plus the nature walker beyond her characteristic plus 1 beauty goddess beyond her characteristics. The anarchy, the shadow of order. Wait, no, that's together. No, dude. Bro, what happened? He read Elotim in the previous chapter. This is the Evernight Pathway family. It just said this is for Lord of the Mysteries. We're related to Lord of the Mysteries. Plus, because I said related to Lord. Easy reread. No, okay, I get it. Okay, no, it's talking about eternal darkness. They're separated. Read them one by one. Oh, they're separated. Oh, I thought it was all together. I thought it was like all just one giant ass fucking receipt or receipt. Okay. Thank you for explaining that. Okay. Goddess of origins, mother of all, broad hive of filth. Oh, I see where that's the split part. Broad hive plus mother uniqueness, the moon uniqueness plus 1 nature walker beyond her characteristic plus 1 beauty goddess beyond her characteristic plus the anarchy, shadow of lord, nature of disorder, the black emperor uniqueness, justiciar uniqueness, plus, dude, there's so much, man. I feel like I'm reading a book receipt right now. There's so much, bro. I'm not used to this much explanations, man. This is a little bit too much. Cuttlefish is like, I'm gonna go all out. Nature of disorder, black emperor uniqueness, plus one's juster uniqueness, plus one's abomination beyond her characteristics, plus one hand of order beyond her. No, I know it's separated. No, I know it's separated now. I get it now. It's separated. Bro, you're not separating them? What do you mean? I'm just reading it. Yeah, it's separated. Yeah, I'm gonna just take out text-to-speech at this point. Let me reread it again. Klein's gaze swept past the parts that were... Oh, he swept past it. So he's not even reading it. So Klein skipped the part that's Lord of the Mysteries. And he read the subsequent content on the slate. You see... Okay. Eternal darkness is Evernight. Darkness. Sequence 0, darkness. Oh, every time it changes from characteristics to a title, it's a new one. First is Evernight's GOO group. Okay. So Klein swept past his gaze related to the Lord of the Mysteries, and he read the subsequent contents of the slate. Eternal darkness, singularity of all, space-time. River of eternal darkness, that makes sense. Darkness uniqueness plus deaf. Oh, and that's why she stole deaf uniqueness. Because she needed deaf uniqueness. Plus twilight giant uniqueness. Plus one knight of misfortune beyond a characteristic. Plus one pale emperor beyond a characteristic. Plus one hand of God beyond a characteristic. And then this is the... I get it. And then this is the POV change. Goddess of origins, mother of awe, broad high filth. Now that's the other one. Now we're on God. Okay. I get it. I get it now. I get it now. Goddess of origins, mother of awe, broad hive of filth, broad hive mother uniqueness, plus the moon uniqueness, plus one nature walker beyond a characteristic, plus one I see it now. I see it. Thank you guys. Plus one beyond her characteristic, and now and then this is the third one. The anarchy shadow. What? Who the fuck is the anarchy shadow of order? Anarchy? What the fuck? Who would be anarchy? No, look, I can read... When I read by myself in my head, it's chill. The Anarchy Shadow of Order. Roselle? This is Roselle's pathway? Nature of Disorder. Black Emperor uniqueness. Okay. Plus just your uniqueness, plus one Prince of Abominations beyond a characteristic, plus one Hand of Order beyond a characteristic. Calamity of Destruction. Origins of Disaster. Oh, POV change. Now, this is another one. City of Calamity, Demoness, Chaos Demoness, Primordial Demoness, Uniqueness. Bro, how the fuck does Cuttlefish do this, man? Plus Red Priest Uniqueness, plus one Apocalypse beyond her characteristics, plus one's Conqueror beyond her characteristics, Father of Devils. Oh, it is another one. Father of Devils, Lords of Deviance, Sources of Curses, Tenebros World, plus Abyss Uniqueness, plus Chained Uniqueness, plus one Filthy Monarch, plus one Abomination beyond a characteristic, Demon of Knowledge. How the fuck does Klein not going insane after reading all this fucking info, bro? There's no shot he doesn't lose control after reading all this. Demon of Knowledge, Arcana of Madness, Knowledge of More, the Hermit Uniqueness, plus the Paragon Uniqueness. I remember playing Paragon. That was a good game before it went down. Plus one Knowledge Emperor beyond a characteristic, plus one Illuminator beyond a characteristic, the Key of Light, Endless Disorder, Incarnation of Fate, Key of Light, Wheel of Fortune Uniqueness, plus one Giant Serpent beyond her characteristic. These are the Great Old Ones, title corresponding to the 9 Sephiroths. After reading it, Klein sighed inwardly. If he and the Emperor Rizzo knew this mysticism knowledge earlier, neither of them would have ended up in this present situation. At certain times, even without beyond your powers, knowledge is completely equivalent to power. The titles of the combined pathways of Earth and Moon are somewhat different from Mother Goddess of Depravity. From the looks of it, it is indeed just a part of her, which means that the title and authority left from the outer deities on the moon is Mother Goddess of Depravity. Origin of Evil, the Indestructible. By the same logic, the Mother Tree of Desire's full name should be... Wait, so what's your full title? So MTOD's full name should be Mother Tree of Desire, Heartless God, Perpetual Blatherer. The situation regarding the Son of Chaos isn't very clear. It's as though he had vanished and no one carefully understood him. Klein nodded indiscriminately. He then asked, from the looks of it, the omnipotent and omniscient is the strongest, the Lord of the mysteries in the space, time, and one are ranked second. The rest are ranked third. Man, there's so much explanation going on in the stream. We're only on our third chapter, and we're 50 minutes in. This was determined by the number of beyonder pathways each needed, excluding the outer deities. Adam looked at the blasphemy slayer and calmly said, that's not how it is. The number of authorities had a certain connection to level and status, but not entirely. The corresponding characteristics, powers, and symbols are equally important. After the original creators split apart, the three pillars stood above, and the great old ones. One was God Almighty, omnipotent, and omniscient. The other was Lord of the Mysteries, Kings of Spacetime, and the last was Mother Goddess of Depravity, Origin of Evil. It's the most complicated chaos today. Can someone send him group name tables? It's gonna help him understand. Yeah, dude, if there's like a group table, I need a chart, bro. I desperately need a chart. I am more of a visual learner. I am a visual learner. Once I see it, I get it. Instant comprehension. I have always been a visual learner, and I will stand by that. Upon hearing Adam's last sentence, Klein couldn't help but look down at his left sleeve. A Rhodes. Oh, fuck you. No shot. Wait, no. No. There is no way a Rhodes dies to bring us back. I'm overthinking. It's okay. Our Rhodes was hiding inside. No wonder a Rhodes said that he saw a pillar and support from me. Klein had suddenly arrived at a state of enlightenment as he was a little bit more convinced about what visionary Adam had said. At this moment, Adam added an acquaintant pace. Currently, the first two pillars only exist in the form of a Sephiroth. And after the mother goddess of depravity had the broad hive and the two beyonder pathways separated from her, she became not much different from the other outer deities. Only her symbol as a pillar remained. If it wasn't for the blood-stained stake at his chest, Klein definitely would have felt the ambience was great for a conversation. In moments when his mind trailed, he even imagined that he and Adam were friends and were happily discussing some mysticism knowledge, waiting for his child Amon to return home for dinner. What kind of fucking expedition is that? Of course, I'm dinner. I have to say that a spectator's abilities to influence others' knowledge, experiences, and his state is really too powerful. As Klein told himself to be on guard, he asked in puzzlement, I thought that the outer deities, like the Mother Goddess of Depravity, who had 2 or even 3 Sephiroths, are considered pillars. Adam looked down at the silver cross pendant hanging across his chest and said, she only has 1 Sephiroth. Under normal circumstances, the Sephiroth can't be separated. Only the original creator... Oh my god. Under normal circumstances, the Sephiroth can be separated only when the original creator split and created an embodiment of convergence and separation that the Sephiroth tear apart, allowing some of them to be sucked into our planet. I am so overwhelmed right now. There is so much, like, sent the graph. Okay, we'll look at it right now. There is so much, like, there is so much to digest. And I don't even think I'm at 50% digestion right now. I'm not even gonna kid. I'm not even gonna lie. Wait, don't go there yet? Okay, we won't go yet. Easy should take a break. No, it's okay. We're good. We're reading nice and slow. No, it's all right. I won't look at it. Don't worry. I don't have Discord open. In other words, the present Sephiroth, the Mother Goddess of Depravity, is incomplete. Her Sephiroth is incomplete. The future Great Old One, Mother of All, won't be a complete Great... You can't be a complete Great Old One. Klein pressed. Adam's lips twitched as though he was smiling. It was so as to not the beginning. Oh my god, why is my nose running? It was so as the beginning, but the Sephiroth has the ability to mend itself. The present Mother Goddess of Depravity, Sephiroth, isn't incomplete, and the Beyond Brove Hive can also create a Great Old One itself. The only problem is that the Mother Goddess of Depravity can only use a portion of pillar she symbolizes, unless she has fused with the Broad Hive again. This has also caused the birth of life and the feminist powers in the entire universe to undergo a certain anomaly. However, thousands of years of time as astronomical scales is a very short period of time. The corresponding influence hasn't spread. Adam, if any outer deities, obtains a Sephiroth that is neighboring, there making it equivalent to having 2 Sephiroths, I can't predict what will happen. Before that, only the original creator had contained the more than singular Sephiroth. However, as long as he has awakened, he will definitely split apart. Klein nodded and asked thoughtfully, in the beginning, the creator accommodated at least 9 Sephiroth? Does this mean that having 2 Sephiroth or even 3 will not result in problems? There should be a critical point. Is that hinting at something that we get more than one later on? No one can verify this at the moment. Adam held the silver cross pendant in front of his chest and said, I'm guessing that some existences have attempted it before. After all, convergence is a very strong instinct, but the outcome is unknown. Which existences? Klein rubbed the blood across wooden stake that was stuck to his chest. Adam cast his gaze at a gigantic cross that was more than 100 meters tall in front of him and calmly said, the God Almighty from the early first epoch, he can also be called the Primordial One. In addition, there's also a Lord of the Mysteries, the one you often recite. As he spoke, Adam turned to look at Klein and said in an imitating manner, the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessings. These two seem to have vanished. The outcome of their attempts doesn't seem too good. Klein hadn't thought of what he wanted to say when Adam turned his head and looked at the second blasphemy slate. What I can be sure of is that some Sephiroth cannot be accommodated at the same time. In the universe, there is a hidden fourth pillar. It represents everything, including the end of the Great Old Ones and the universe itself. It corresponds to 2 Sephiroths, River of Eternal Darkness and the City of Calamity. Simply put, if Evernight can become an eternal darkness, singularity of all space-time in one, she can further occupy the 2 pathways of Demoness and Red Priest, okay? Encompassing the City of Calamity and becoming the true 4th pillar. However, when that happens, she will either enter a deep sleep, be passively split apart. I don't understand this part. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't get what's going on. What do you mean she'll be sleeping, becoming a pillar? Oh my, this is too much, man. I was like, I'm not only gonna read 5 chapters today. You guys were right, man. I need that break after 4 or 5 chapters. Be passively split apart, or it will cause the entire universe, including her and us, to... What? Let me read this sentence again. However, when that happens, she will either enter a deep sleep, be passively split apart, or it will cause the entire universe, including her and us, to be annihilated, starting everything all over again. That sounds really dangerous. Never expected that. Once above the sequence's levels reached, the symbolism is more important than authority. Adam, no, the ancient sun god's mysticism knowledge is simply too terrifying. As expected of a quasi-great old one, Klein sighed when he heard that. He thought and said, in other words, a demigod from the sleepless pathway can transfer to the demoness pathway. I feel like that's been reviewed. Is this a new reveal? Can transfer to the demoness pathway? That's right. Adam looked straight ahead, but in that case, there's no way to become a great old one unless one thinks of a way to separate the bionic characteristics from before. As Klein looked up, he read the demigod potion formula of a spectator, sleepless, and arbiter pathways, and changed the topic. Where did the potion formula related to the great old ones come from? That's a really good question. The first blasphemy slate didn't seem to contain them. Where were they hidden in the different sequence 0 potions? Adam's expression changed slightly, and his face seemed to be more radiant. After I gained initial control of the omnipotence and omniscience authority, I began to descend the method and pathway to become a great old one. Finally, I found a suitable formula and figured out the different symbolism. Unfortunately, at that time, the primordial one had also... Oh, shit, so the primordial one did awaken inside him. Unfortunately, at that time, the primordial one had also woken inside me. Therefore, when the ancient sun god perished, you used a portion of your body and will to create a second blasphemy slate. Klein sighed and said, from now on, there will be light for the apocalypse. The light seeker. It also ended up the chaotic battle between the deities due to danger, emotions, and other reasons. It initiated the era of working towards becoming great old ones. Adam maintained his previous expression and didn't say anything. Klein fell silent after a few seconds. He suddenly asked, what kind of humanity did you fabricate in the marionettes of the mind? Adam turned his head and said with clear eyes, he was too tired. He wanted to rest and freedom, even if it was only a few seconds later. Klein gaped, not knowing how to respond. Why didn't you address him as German Sparrow, but refer to him as that marionette? Adam asked warmly, as though he was trying to straighten out the thoughts of a member of his congregation. Klein turned his head and looked at him and suddenly said with a smile, I am a German sparrow. German sparrow is part of me. If I separate them, even I can escape your divine kingdom. It will be different from me to avert the fate of losing control. Having said that, Klein paused and looked ahead. He asked in a deep voice, you only have godhood left. A roasted... Oh, fucking POV change. Okay. I'm actually kind of happy we have a POV change, even though it's really hype. I need the POV change because... Oh, that is too much. I'm down for some roasted archipelago information right now. I really want to know what's happening here right now because that was too much. Roasted archipelago, city of generosity, Bam. After returning here, Verdu Abraham learned about the god of war was a rather active existence in the fourth epoch. It was possible for him to respond to believers. Then he hired a poor person who willingly risked his life to pray to the god of war to confirm that there was no danger. And the price of all of that was 300 gold pounds. Now he received the report that not only was that poor person not dead, he even had some of his wishes fulfilled. Good for him. Look at that. Oh my god. Dude, I need to fucking hydrate after that. That was barely our fucking third chapter. After an hour. It feels like the good old days. Remember how back then we used to read really slow? My hands are so sweaty, I can't even twist open my water bottle. God damn, man. Your pulse is racing from anxiety? Bro, how do you think I feel? I need to fan myself down. I can't believe I'm looking at a fucking screenshot from the wiki. The forbidden place. Shall not enter the domain of the wiki until thou shalt have finished reading Lord of the... No, even then, we fucking spell it was... I can't even look at the wiki after Lord of the Mysteries because they have all the COI jargon in there. Like, what? Cammy, can I send a complete pathway graph? Yes. I assume everything's been revealed now. There were so many pathways that I don't know what the fuck was what. No, there's no way. Really? Can I really not look at a complete pathway? There was a lot... So, there was so much terminology spewed. Dude, I'm gonna just give it to you straight. I'm gonna fail that volume 7 test. No, so others you haven't seen? Really? Oh, shit. So, for Lord of the Mysteries, these are the compatible pathways. Full error door. Okay, that makes sense. Those are the 3 compatible. God Almighty has 5 compatible pathways. 4? Fuck. Visionary, Sun, Tyrant, White Tower, Hanged Man. I was like, what the fuck is White Tower? And volume 7 is called Hanged Man. So I'm like, is like it has to be called Hanged Man for a reason, right? Like Adam is a vision, or not Adam, the ancient sun god is the visionary right now, right? And Hanged Man is compatible, so I feel like something's gonna something has to go down with the true creator. So okay, thank you, unknown. So for LOTM, you need 61 characteristics of full error door and their uniquenesses and the Sephira castle. So you just need, so to become this Lord of the Mysteries, you need 1 characteristic of full error door and then the uniqueness of full error door. So you need 6 ingredients, and then you need a Sephira. See, that makes it so much easier. See, visually, I'm like, look, God Almighty. You want to be God Almighty? Blah, 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 characteristics plus blah, 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 uniquenesses plus a Sephira. Eternal darkness is darkness, death, Twilight Giant. Calamity of Destruction is Demoness and Red Priest. We did talk about that. Wait, I don't get it. So how the fuck can... What was it that we're saying right now about Evernight? Oh, not a Sephiroth, the Sephiroth of that compatible pathway? There's no way there are sequences that aren't revealed in this book. There's no shot Are you kidding me? Wait, how many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. What? That's all of them. COI will also be confusing for you. Oh my god. What I don't get right now is all this pillar information we were talking about. I don't understand what none of that meant. It's too much. Also, if the eternal darkness and calamity of destruction combined, the universe goes boom. I didn't get that part. So why would the earth just... why would we just cease to exist? Pillars are above. Oh, pillars are above. Oh my god. So I'm stun locked. I'm generally stun locked. Oh, hey, let me read this again. The fourth pillar is the embodiment of end of everything, universe and all things, even themselves. That's why when someone becomes the fourth pillar, everything goes boom. Pillars are great old ones, but they represent a certain aspect of a universe, so they are stronger. But then it's like, if they're pillars, what are they holding? Like, I feel like at this point, if great old ones are pillars, there's probably something above the great old ones. That's the shit that's confusing me, because like they're not like they're just a pillar. Like usually when there are pillars to something, those pillars are supporting something else. So if you're telling me you become a pillar to only be a great old one, it's like there's probably something even above that. Pillars, okay, pillars just hold the universe. Okay. Oh man, I never thought I'd like be reading this, bro. Remember the beginning when like we're just buying rye bread at Backland, and then Klein is like, oh, I just gotta pretend to be Klein. Oh, is that a monster? Oh, is that a clown? And like that was it. And now it's fucking pillars, visionaries, GOOs, ASG, the destruction of the universe, and like all this other fucking crazy shit. And it's like, you need this characteristic plus this uniqueness plus all these other compatible pathways to be. Oh my god, I'm getting lightheaded. Oh my god, yo, what's up, Misty? Woo! I need a 5. We gotta take 5. Damn, I'm looking at the wiki. This is kind of hype. Above the sequences, dude. If I looked at the wiki, I'd be like 0. I'd be like, oh, okay, 1 ends right here. I'd be like, fuck is a true god 0? The fuck is a great old one? It's like, fuck is above the sequences. I would have been so fucking lost if I read this prior. I was like, what? You are understanding now. We are proud, dude. I'm like, oh my god, thank you, dude. I'm hanging on a very thin line, bro. I feel like a clown. I feel like a clown walking on those like thin strings as a show, and I'm like, I can fall at any moment. So Lord of the Mysteries. So this is the bracket. All this. God Almighty. It encompasses all this. Eternal darkness. Calamity of destruction. Demon of knowledge. Key of light. Wheel of fortune. Snake of Mercury. You guys have not been able to be quiet though. That monster is like the strongest thing in the verse. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I feel like Visionary is like the most OP shit at this point, dude. Like, I'm not even lying. I feel like God Almighty. More specifically, Visionary, there's no combating that. I don't know. It's so weird. But you guys do say monster beats all in the verse. Nobody said this except username. Only one person technically said that. Demon of knowledge is all this. Key of light, wheel of fortune, snake of fate, goddess of origin, mother tree, father of devils, abyss enchained, the anarchy. What the fuck is the anarchy? Black emperor and justiciar. Okay. Oh man. Oh no, he doesn't. Oh, there's something I don't know yet. Oh man, let's keep reading. You guys, you guys cannot blame me for not being able to remember everything right now. There's so much exposition. Easy forgets everything. It's just there's too much. My brain can only fit so much at a time, man. Oh my goodness. Let's just keep reading. You have to start remembering the sequences by their sequence zero names. It will help. Yeah, I know that's the somebody did reference earlier, like a while ago. Like, good thing you didn't look at the wiki because everything is referenced by sequence zero. Like people will be like the darkness pathway, like what, or like the full pathway. Yeah, the Zixfar, we're just talking about this here, right? Oh, let's just keep reading. There's too much going on. Chapter 1348 is called Preparations for the Ritual. Blue Mountain Island, within a primitive forest, worried that the official Beyonders would discover the ritual outside the city. Verdu Abraham, who had finished making preparations, used a sealed artifact to teleport away from Bayam and arrived in some place that was nearly uninhabited. Rubbing the pain in his ribs, Verdu took off his classic robe and placed it inside. Following, oh my god, did I say Sasir? No, I meant Salinger. No, I know who's Sasir. Duh, Dark Angel Sasir. So far, that's my favorite volume finale. I don't know how we top this. So we'll see how the last 6, how many chapters do we have left? We still have like 4 chapters, 5 chapters? Let him be LMAO. Rose Rage Baby. Following that, he set up an altar, lit the candles, and burnt the correct essential oils, extract, herbal powders, etc. After finishing the setup, Verdu took 2 steps back and lowered his voice to chant an ancient Hermes, the great old ones of war. The symbol of iron and blood, the ruler of chaos and strife. A howling wind echoed in the dark forest. Amidst the rustling of the branches and leaves, the 2 of the candles on the altar suddenly emitted crackling sounds. The corresponding candle flames rose up from the sides of a sapling to a towering tree. At the same time, the color of the candlelight changed from orange to bright white. The wind that passed through the forest became even more intense. 2 fiery pillars of fire interweaved together, twisting into a blurry and huge fire figure. At that moment, Verdu Abraham felt an indescribable gaze cast from high above and onto his body. He hurriedly bowed his head and said, "Great God of War, your lowly believer would like to pray to you for help." As he spoke, he kept adjusting his attitude and tried his best to remain calm. He knew that his family's... Oh, snap. I'm undoing a lot of things. Oh, snap. Oh, snap, 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 snap. Oh my god, no! I just undid all my fucking timestamps! Ah, my god, man. We errored the world and we literally lost all our timestamps, but that's okay. We'll fix it. We'll go back and fix it. Alright, here we go. We literally used the yesterday once more charm and we actually only recovered our timestamps from yesterday. But here we go. Chapter 1348 is called Preparations of the Ritual. Blue Mountain Island, within a primitive forest, worried that the official Beyonders would discover that the ritual outside the city. Verdu Abraham, who had finished making preparations, used a sealed artifact to teleport away from Bayam and arrived in some places that was nearly uninhabited. Rubbing the pain in his ribs, Verdu took off his classic robe and placed it inside. By the way, unknown man, thank you again. Following that, he set up an altar, lit the candles, and burnt the correct essential oils, extracts, herbal powders, etc. After finishing the setup, Verdu took 2 steps back and lowered his voice to chant an ancient Hermes, the great god of war. The symbol of iron and blood, the ruler of chaos and strife. A howling wind echoed in the dark forest. Amidst the rustling of the branches and leaves, 2 of the candles on the altar suddenly emitted crackling sounds. The corresponding candle flames rose from the side of a sapling to a towering tree. At the same time, the color of candlelight changed from orange to bright white. The wind that passed through the forest became even more intense. 2 fiery pillars of fire intertwined together, twisting into a blurry and huge figure. At that moment, Verdu Abraham felt an indescribable gaze cast from high above and onto his body. He hurriedly bowed his head and said, "Great God of War, your lowly believer would like to pray for you for help." As he spoke, he kept adjusting his attitude and tried his best to remain calm. He knew from his family's books the most important thing to take note of when praying to the God of War was not to be angry. The massive figure formed from a blinding white flame constantly spewed out flames and used a language that Verdu could understand but had no idea what it was. Lowly mortal, a god is not used to satisfy your wishes. Speak, say your prayers, and I'll decide whether to help you in the end. Verdu had already drafted out his request, so he had another. So he said after some thought, Great God of War, what should I do to make my ancestor, Mr. Bethel Abraham, return to this world? A ritual, sacrifice a bizarre sorcerer, a secret sorcerer, and a parasite. You should already know about it. The flaming giant said in a deep and dignified manner. It's the same as the answer given by Dorian's student. Verdu sighed and said, Great God of War, what must I pay to request for you to complete this ritual for me? The flaming giant looked down at the astrologer and said, the corresponding price is not something you can afford. Your pale and puny soul isn't even qualified to be embers. Just as Verdu was disappointed and abnormally depressed, the flaming giant continued, but Mr. Dor can. Besides, I am in a good mood today. Sacrifice a portion of your blood to me as the mark of the contract. I will request the corresponding price from Mr. Dor. That's possible. Verdu subconsciously had his suspicions, but after some thought, he felt that there was nothing wrong with it. Indeed, only his ancestor, Bethel Abraham, had the right to trade with the secret existences like the God of War. You see, I'm okay. I can read this. I'm following this right now. All that shit with Adam was too much, man. As for whether Mr. Dor was willing to proceed with the deal, Verdu had never considered it. From his point of view, anyone who was in an exiled and sealed state would undoubtedly want to escape, even if they had to pay a huge price. Yes, Great God of War. After pondering for a moment, Verdu agreed. He then changed the ritual and added the sacrifice and bestowment parts of the ritual. He then used a mental dagger to pierce through his arms and let out a dark red blood. With his blood turned into red pearls and passed through the door of sacrifices and bestowment, it became extremely dark, as though there were countless monsters lurking in it. And the next second, an object was spat out from behind the illusionary door. It was a semi-transparent meat blob with slippery tentacles. On the meat blob, twisted maggots crawled out one after another. Upon seeing the object, Verdu's head turned dazzling, as though large amounts of gunk had been injected into it. At this moment, a flame landed and enveloping his body, turning his vision red. With the layer of red light, Verdu no longer suffered any abnormalities when looking at the blob of meat. Right on the heels of that, another object was spat out of the door of sacrifices and bestowment. It was a bird with a deformed head. Every feather shimmered with a faint stellar radiance. Strands of insect-like brilliance drilled into its body and occasionally emanated out. Worms of stars. Is that a monster with a secret sorcerer's beyond a characteristic? The previous one corresponds to bizarre sorcerer. Indeed, secret sorcerers and bizarre sorcerers are only the names of the potion. They aren't just referring to humans. It's the same with the title of demigods. Unless the term half-man is added to that, Verdu has a deep understanding of his pathway, allowing him to understand the current situation. Hi guys, hello. At this moment, the ritual to help Mr. Dor escape could be done by sacrificing demigod monsters of the seer, apprentice, and marauder pathways. Furthermore, there was no need for Verdu to do it himself. The Great God of War had already prepared everything. I feel like I just spoiled myself by reading chat. I was going to ask you guys. I'm like, how the fuck are we praying to the God of War? Well, I'm stupid. God of War, God of Combat are two different people. I was like, I thought God of Combat was killed. But we're talking to Medici. Right? This made it difficult for Verdu to suppress the jolt in his heart. He looked at the door of sacrifice and bestowment of light. Who is God of War? With great anticipation, waiting for the third sacrifice to be spat out. Yes? Okay. In just a second, an object flew out from the darkness behind the door and landed on the altar. It was an unconscious crow. A crow? Of course, it only looks like a crow. Its right eye had a ring of black. Its feathers were almost transparent. I'm sorry, is it a mon? One on it were rings, a monster corresponding to Parasite. Verdu was delighted as he sincerely praised the Great God of War. Did I say medicine? Autocorrect. God of War is medicine under a figure. Fucking autocorrect. You know, like when you want to say fuck and it autocorrects to duck. Ducking shit. God of War. Inside the corpse cathedral, you only have godhood left. Klein asked in a low voice as he looked at the huge cross in front of him. He felt that using a certain identity or a particular persona to revive definitely had problems. Even if the identity of the persona had a real body, real beyond her characteristics, and a certain level of self-awareness, it still wouldn't be nearly perfect, and Adam's behavior had deepened his suspicions. Sitting beside him, Adam, who was dressed in a simple white robe, didn't show any changes in expression. He maintained his composure when preaching. Yes, I'll only be complete if I fuse with true. I do like how now we're abbreviating true creator to true. I'll only be complete if I fuse with true. So true creator. So true creator is going to come back, which is i.e. Hangman. Indeed, Klein sighed and said, although the true creator is an embodiment of negative personalities and extreme emotions, he has also inherited your humanity. That's why he went mad. Adam appeared to be speaking about a stranger. Klein thought for a moment before interrupting the remaining contents of the second blasphemy slate. He asked, if the two of you really fuse as one, who among you will take center stage? Oh shit, they're gonna fuse this volume. This is what we have been competing for after we awaken. Adam said he released the hand holding the silver cross pendant. Therefore, you obtained the first blasphemy slate through Amon, hoping to use it to gain control of the Chaos Sea and gain the upper hand. So when he fuses with the true creator, he would be the one in control. Klein was enlightened as he nodded with a frown. All of you seem to have a tacit understanding regarding this matter. The true creator has never made an issue out of your identity or used external forces to deal with you. This is between us, Adam replied calmly. Klein fell silent for a few seconds before staring at the blasphemy slate. I have a nagging feeling that the Red Angel's death and many of the things that happened during the Fourth Epoch weren't that simple. Klein kept asking and probing. Apart from trying to understand more secrets and gain more knowledge, he was stalling for time and maintaining their present interactions. Compared to being hypnotized by Adam and turning muddled heads or sleeping directly, he wished to stay awake. With this in mind, Klein lowered his head and looked at the blob-stained wooden stake embedded in his chest. He felt that the pain it brought was so real. Why do you say that? Adam asked in return, as if he would begin praying at any moment. Klein deliberated over his words and said, before the Black Emperor returned, the Solomon Empire only had one true God, the true creator, and the Red Priest's uniqueness. Music soon above the great... Oh yeah, above the great... Oh, thank you, Kemi. Above the great fog. And the Red Priest's uniqueness, the nobles and powers who supported Elisa Tudor occupied the four uniquenesses of Visionary, Door, Error, and the Fool. Together even adding the Kings of Angels, Ouroboros, they wouldn't be able to fend off the six orthodox deities like Evernight and company. Furthermore, they still had the Justiciar uniqueness on hand. In such a situation, even if you didn't plan on scheming to target the Red Angel, no one will suspect you. Of course, a crazy blood emperor might be more useful to you. Adam's gaze remained unchanged as he stared at the huge cross. You don't understand it because you don't know enough. In the Fourth Epoch, apart from the three great empires and the true deities of kings of angels behind them, there were also the demonist sect and the Moses Ascetic order. There was also the Abyss infiltration and secretly developed artisans, as well as the Southern Continent Balaams. And that wasn't all. In addition, there were many crucial factors at that. Klein nodded thoughtfully and said, for example, the conflict between the six deities. Adam smiled warmly and said, more than that. Without waiting for Klein to ask further, Adam added calmly, you should have been to Bansi. Klein's heart stirred as he opened his mouth but didn't say a word. Adam continued, in addition, after I perished, the invasion on reality by the outer deities was clearly depended. In the ancient... Oh, music changed. In the ancient palace above the fog. In the ancient palace above the great fog. No, not even above the great fog. In the ancient palace above the fog. Due to the lack of response to the prayer of light representing Bernadette, it kept expanding, uncontracting, emitting ripples and halos. This provoked the vortex formed from transparent maggots. It frantically flailed its slippery tentacles and lashed towards that direction. Let me raise the volume a bit. After repeated misses, one of the tentacles touched the correct prayer of light. Fuck is... Holy shit, this chapter's called Door. No shot he's coming back. Chapter 1349 is called Door. Why ever is this chapter called Door? After Bernadette received no response, she held the magic wishing lamp and walked to the window in the captain's cabin to take in the deep blue sea. She was impatient, nor did she attempt to use her powers of prophecy, patiently waiting for any further developments. After a few minutes, a grayish-white fog suddenly appeared in front of her eyes. Right on the heel of that, the fog was dyed golden, as though it was coated with layers of sticky syrup. Bernadette immediately bowed her head and looked at the magic wishing lamp in her hand. She saw that the wick at the mouth of the lamp had automatically ignited itself. Above the great fog in the ancient palace, besides the fool's chair, the prayer of light, which was the size of a human head, was instantly occupied but by a distorted, blurry golden figure. The figure's gaze penetrated the prayer of light and penetrated the grayish-white fog. Looking at the maggot vortex, this was attempting to destroy everything around it. His voice immediately reverberated with Sephara cast so dignified and grand. You actually lost control. The tone of Genie was clearly... I'm sorry, who lost control? The tone of Genie was clearly mocking. He didn't care whether the crazy worms of spirit could understand him. At this moment, a strange... Okay, we're talking about Mr. Door. At this moment, a strange door of light formed from countless balls of light appeared above the chair of the full... Wait, no, I lied. above the chair of the fool that had already collapsed. It was faintly disintegrable and emitted a bright light, forming a complicated symbol in midair. This symbol originally existed behind the fool's chair, formed from the pupilless eyes that contorted the lines. It's Klein, right? It's like the because I read door, I'm like, okay, is like door gonna come back somehow? No, my bad, sorry. Thinking out loud. No, this is the apparition, like the apparition we've seen of Klein in the past, when he's not physically there, but it's there. No, yeah, the worms lost control because they disconnected from Klein. Yeah, they disconnected. Oh, it was when he was concealed, right? Yeah, when he was originally concealed in the beginning. Oh my god, we read that yesterday, right? That's what we read yesterday. That wasn't said today. We read that yesterday when they just started the attack. As the symbol took form, the strange light became fainter and eventually completely fused into space. And the next second, Klein's voice came from the symbol representing the fool. No? That was today? No, that was also yesterday. Oh my god. You can tell I'm overwhelmed today, man. Genie, I want to make a deal with you. The blurry and distorted figure immediately left. Huh. It's today when he got up on Adam Cathedral. It was when Adam came with his cathedral and the wooden cross. Got it. Oh my god, it was yesterday. I said that you would eventually agree. After laughing for a few seconds, Genie calmed down and said, I was just wondering, how is it possible for the new owners of Fairy Castle to so easily lose control? This was a preparation I made for the worst case scenario. The voice in the symbol of the fool wasn't impatient at all. Genie laughed and said, aren't you afraid that I'll raise the price at the last minute? Klein replied unhurriedly, this is just one of my preparations, but for you it might be the only chance for many years. Genie light gold figure swayed as though it had been blown by a gust of wind at a grand voice sound. My condition is the same as before. As long as you can remove the seal and release me, I will take what belongs to me back to the cosmos. I will leave the rest to you and grant you 3 wishes. Of course, from the looks of it, you seem to need my advance payment. Klein's voice sounded again from the symbol of the fool. Then, promise I'll give you is to send the magic wishing lamp into the cosmos before the end of 1368. In this epoch age, as for how you get out of your predicament, that is your own problem. My request is even simpler, and I only need 2 wishes. This is the deal I'm talking about. Whether you agree with it is up to you. 1368 was a year of the oldest one's barrier disappeared. Oh, 1368 was a year when the oldest one's barrier disappeared. It was acknowledged by the world's prophets of the apocalypse. The blurry and distorted figure fell silent for a few seconds before saying, if you don't remove the seal, the wishes I can grant will be very limited. Once it exceeds a certain level, it will be granted in an extremely twisted fashion. Inside the symbol of the fool that was cast by a brilliant light, Klein's calm voice sounded. You can fulfill the 2 wishes I need now. Genie fell silent again and didn't speak for a long time. Bam, inside the primitive forest, Verdu, who was burning up with both internally and externally, didn't waste any time. According to the Gods of War's instructions, he modified the altar and engraved the correct symbols, magic labels, and strange patterns. He was originally worried that the 3 demigod monsters would suddenly wake up, but when the ritual was ready, the sacrificed atoms remained unconscious, unable to resist. After placing the squirming meat blob, the deformed star bird, and the white raven with a dark eye circle onto the right spot, Verdu looked at one of the candles on the altar and lit it up. When he chanted Jotun, got it. Then he took a few steps back and chanted solemnly and Jotun. Not right now, it says right here. Then he took a few steps and chanted solemnly in Jotun. Great door of all doors, guide of the endless cosmos, key to all mysterious worlds. Then he took a few steps back and chanted solemnly in Jotun, great door of all doors. Here we go. Guide of the endless cosmos, key to all mysterious worlds. I pray for your response, praying for you to descend into the world. Before he could finish the sentence, 3 loud bangs sounded from the altar. The 3 demigod monsters that correspond to the bizarre sorcerers, secret sorcerers, and parasites seemed to being held by an invisible hand. They only struggled slightly before exploding, turning into blobs of flesh and blood that shimmered with different colors. The flesh and blood seemed to have a life of its own. Under the guidance of some indescribable force, they gathered in the air, forming strange and filthy symbols. Countless symbols combined together, forming a huge door that was still squirming like flesh and blood. One that was more than 5 meters tall. The door stood on the altar. It was pitch black inside, and it was unknown where it went. Flames from the candle represented Mr. Door suddenly soared, illuminating the entire door of flesh and blood. illuminating the darkness within. In the darkness, there were tiny balls of stellar light condensing into spherical lights. On closer inspection, they looked like strange insects with bent bodies. The spherical light rapidly rose, forming a gigantic arm that passed through the doors of flesh and blood. This arm, which clearly didn't belong to human, pressed against the altar and forcibly squeezed out, causing the entire door of blood and flesh to shake. It's so hard to envision this right now. Even the forest and the entire island began to shake as though it was an earthquake. Verdu watched the scene happily as his vision suddenly blurred. Pa! Something fell from his face into the bushes. Verdu subconsciously lowered his head and saw an eye with bulging blood vessels around it. Pa! 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 His nose, ears, and remaining eyes, as well as his muscles, plopped to the ground one after another, each seeping with a stellar radiance. Thump. Music changed at the end of the chapter when you read Primordial 1. His body collapsed as his flesh and blood completely collapsed. So it's GG. At that moment, the arm finally squeezed through the door of flesh and blood and attempted to pull out the rest of its body. Boom. In the darkness behind the door, thick lightning bolts formed a storm and descended, but they were swallowed by the sudden appearance of a blood-colored tide. Finally, a gigantic figure formed from pure spherical lights faced through the door of flesh and blood. And the next second, the spherical light began to collapse and fold as though they were going to undergo a qualitative change. Following that, dark cracks appeared out of the void in the surrounding forest. These cracks directly engulfed the different parts of the trees, turning them into strange spheres. At the same time, a hurricane from unknown origins blew out from the cracks and swept in all directions. The entire Blue Mountain Island and Bayam was on to tremble as though it was about to sink. Inside the cathedral waves, Olger Wilson, who was vexed over failing to monitor Verdu after he teleported, suddenly heard the sounds of the door opening. Every door in the city was open. What the fuck? So all the doors... Every door in the city was open automatically at this moment. Olger turned his head and looked into the forest outside the city that seemed to be the source of anomaly. Thud. The moment the door opened, Derek, who had been woken up by the earthquake, frowned. Creak, creak, creak. Oh shit, he back. In the cities like Backland, Trier, and St. Millum, all things could be called doors open. What the fuck? Every single fucking door known to man just opens. Is that what's going on? Above the gray fog and the half... Wait, when do we do music change? Above the gray fog in the half-collapsed ancient palace, the crazy maggot vortex instinctively attacked the light gold figure and the full symbol, but nothing came out of it. After nearly a minute, Genie suddenly chuckled. You really aren't him, otherwise I'd have distorted the promise you made just now and made his seal be removed automatically. You really aren't him, otherwise I'd have distorted the promise you made just now and made his seal be removed automatically. This effect can only be achieved by twisting the original owner's words. You previously used this method to realize that I'm not the Lord of the Mysteries. Klein's voice sounded from the symbol of the fool. Genie scoffed and said, I have at least 10 ways to verify that it's him. Without waiting for Klein's reply, the pale gold figure smiled and said, you don't seem like you can maintain this state for too long. Alright, the deal has been made. After I complete your 2 wishes, you must send the magic wishing lamp into the cosmos before 1368 of this epoch. Genie's voice gradually turned solemn as if he was proclaiming a law. At that moment, he seemed to have established a particular rule based on this deal. There is no need to worry that the Klein would go back on his word in the future. If you can't fulfill this promise, even if you become the Lord of the Mysteries, you will perish and split. Warned the Genie as he asked, tell me your 2 wishes, take a note, don't evolve higher level beyond your characteristics, and don't exceed the limit of my present powers. Otherwise, the wish will be granted in a distorted way. This is a rule that has been set. I can't violate it now. In the symbol of the fool that was outlined by the bright light, Klein's voice calmly said, the first wish. The 2 wishes that Bernadette Gustave previously made are to be brought under mine. Oh my god, no! Wait, so the 3rd wish would kill him. His 2nd wish, wait, no. Does that make any sense? If her 2 wishes get passed to him, then his 2nd wish would technically be the 3rd wish? The first, wait. The first wish, the 2, I thought he already lost his revive. But he got stabbed through the heart. I felt like, well, it was never brought up if that uses revive, so we'll see. The first wish, the 2 wishes that Bernadette Gustave previously made are to be brought under my name. This should be very simple for you. Oh no. Genie immediately said with a smile, indeed, you want to make use of the terrible outcome for making a 3rd wish to deal with your current predicament. Oh, he'd rather kill himself so he can come back? Not bad. If this is something that stems from my level, I will satisfy your wish and let you die in pain. So that, oh wait, that was technically the third wish. So his first wish was the third wish, and then he comes back and he makes his, oh my god, and then he makes a second wish. Klein's voice sounded again. The second wish, let my utopia give rise to a corresponding region in the spirit world. This doesn't involve the advancement of a sequence, nor does it have anything to do with a higher level beyond characteristics. You can definitely do it. Genie, light gold figure waved before he said a smile. Your wish will be granted. Inside the Corpse Cathedral, Klein touched the bloody wooden stake on his chest as though he was considering how to get it out. During this process, he casually asked Adam, you didn't attempt to become a god in the 4th epoch because you didn't attain 008. It was one factor. More importantly, there were so many latent dangers that haven't been resolved at time. Adam looked at a huge cross in front of him with a warm gaze. Klein turned his head to the side and looked at the visionary and said, for example, during that period, the remnant of the primordial one was still very strong. Before he finished the sentence, a large amount of bright red blood flowed down Klein's head. However, the corner of his lips curled up slightly. So that's him dying from the wish. Chapter 1350 is called Wish. Okay, so he just died from his wish? What? That's such a weird roundabout way to go about the wishes. That is so trippy. Chapter 1350 is called Wish, as I lower my volume down a little bit. Adam turned his head and looked at Klein. His limpid, light-colored eyes reflected the face that was stained with blood. His expression remained unchanged, and there was a hint of pity in its warmth. It was as if a god was looking down upon the world. Klein smiled at him as his head cracked apart. This trend on his body caused him to collapse into a pool of blood. In the pool of blood were his clothes, a blood-soaked stake, and an ancient mirror. Wait, what the fuck? We left the roads behind? In the Corpse Cathedral in the Divine Kingdom of Visionary Adam, Klein had died a strange death. Adam, dressed in simple white robe, looked up the scene before him with gentleness and calmness. It was unknown if he had expected it or if he had avoided having any emotions. In the ancient palace above, I can't believe we actually tricked Adam. Dude, I'm so... God. Rhodes is okay. He's good. No, we're going to go back for Rhodes. In the ancient palace above the fog, the crazy maggot vortex instantly stopped as they broke apart into numerous frozen dead worms of spirit. And the next second, these worms of spirit turned illusionary as they became stained with grayish-white as though they had fused into the fog of history. Then they came back to life as if they shimmered with a dark glow. They gathered together. In just a few seconds, the worms of spirit resembled into a figure. It was Klein Moretti, who had black hair, brown eyes, and a formal suit. With the return of the owner, Safari Castle, they destroyed the destroyed model table and the 22 high-back chairs rapidly restored to normal. They come back. The junk scattered all over the floor was piled up again. Klein picked up the staff of stars embedded with various gems and sat on the seat belonging to the fool. The entire space above the fog quaked as boundless and mighty invisible forces surged out. Klein immediately nodded at the golden figure that occupied Bernadette's prayers. I will fulfill my promise. Genie laughed and said, it looks like you have inherited his cunningness and shamelessness. Very good. As soon as he said that, the blurry and distorted golden figure rapidly receded, no longer projecting itself onto Bernadette's prayer light. Well done. As Klein separated a worm of spirit to respond to Queen Mystic prayers, he lowered his head and made a wish to himself. I wish to be restored to how I was like before tonight. When his main body died, he had only taken away the core portion of the Miracle Invoker beyond characteristics, leaving behind the remains in Adam's Corpse Cathedral. Oh, he was so this is how we get a Rhodes back. He was unable to retrieve them. Of course, Klein still had a large portion of the characteristics in the Worm of Spirit in his body above the Great Fog, and the remaining marionettes in Utopia. Zaratul didn't need any additional Beyonder characteristics, nor did he want them to end up affecting his condition. Therefore, he didn't directly use the law of convergence or Beyonder characteristics to suck up all the characteristics of the same pathway in Utopia. He collected them using a different method, which was relatively slow and would require a certain amount of time. After making this wish, Klein summoned a curtain that draped it behind him and snapped his fingers. Inside the junk pile, the Seer Pathway Sequence 9 and 3 Beyonder characteristics that were separated from the curtain previously floated up at the same time, transferring into pure light dots that drilled into Klein's body. His condition instantly returned to the time when he was almost done digesting Miracle Invoker Potion. Apart from the lack of physical body, he was no different from when he was attacked. Right on the heels of that, Klein cast his gaze at Utopia, which was closely connected to him. Inside Utopia, the hooded black-robed Zaratul, when face was covered in white whiskers, stood on the roof of St. Ariana Cathedral. Beside him were Rizzo Gustavs, William Augustus, and Abomination Sua, historical projection. They patiently waited for the door to the Corpse Cathedral to open and for German Spirit to walk out. He ain't even there. He controlled some of his marionettes, dealing with a few of the mutated Utopia marionettes, leaving the remaining portion of the marionettes which remained normal to the end. At that moment, dense illusionary spirit body threads suddenly floated up from the rigged Utopian marionettes into an infinitely high height away. They instantly came to life and turned around, looking at Zaratul and his historical projections. The pair of eyes sparkled in darkness. At the same time, a huge shadow descended from the faint grayish-white fog, enveloping the entirety of Utopia. Zaratul and his historical projections instinctively raised their heads and looked up the sky that suffused a faint gray fog. Sealing is prohibited here. In the next second, William Augustus' historical projection raised the sword in his right hand and solemnly made an announcement. The shadow that enveloped Utopia immediately shook as many gaps appeared. It was unable to completely isolate the marionette town from the outside world. Rizzo Gustav historical projection immediately transformed into a torrent of information that surged towards Klein's remaining marionettes, an attempt to interfere with their movements. As for the historical projection of Abomination Sua, it attacked the shadow that appeared like a curtain in the bid to expand the corresponding gaps. Zaratul extended his hand and grafted the void in front of him to another island in the Berserk Sea. Oh my god, these fights are so like conceptual now. Zaratul extended his hand, grafted the void in front of him to another island in the Berserk Sea that he had previously fixed. Following that, as long as he took a step forward, he would be able to leave Utopia. At that moment, the Klein marionettes snatched the opportunity before the torrent of information entered their spirit bodies. At the same time, they opened their mouths and chanted in Jotun, Leodero. Wait, what the fuck? Did all of them chant Leodero? In the forsaken lands of the gods, with the remnant divine powers of the tyrant, Klein could directly trigger the powers of a deity based on the name alone, but that wasn't the case in the outside world. As for whether or not he wanted to punish the fellow for calling out his true name, it was decided by the Lords of Storms. So it's like all the marionettes in Utopia, they look at Zaratul and they're all like, Leodero. Klein had his marionettes recite the honorific name at the same time. Wow. Klein had his marionettes recite the honorific name at the same time, only to get the Lords of Storms to cast his gaze over. That is so fucking cool. As one of the members of the 5 pathways of omnipotence and omniscience, the Lords of Storms was probably one of the true deities that didn't wish for Adam's plot to succeed, so that's why he's going to help. If Amon became the Lord of the Mysteries, the King of the Space and Time... So weird. If Amon became the Lord of the Mysteries, the King of Space and Time, the Tyrant would be in a very dangerous situation. He would have to constantly worry that the Son of the Creator would deal with him and help Adam or the true Creator ascend to the position of Lord of the Astral World. Therefore, compared to the Evernight Goddess and Earth Mother, Lords of Storms, Eternal Blazing Sun, and the God of Knowledge and Wisdom were probably the existences who didn't wish to see Adam and Amon succeed. If there was a chance, Klein planned on getting his marionettes to continue shouting Akussis and Herabergen. Oh, that'd be fucking cool. Fraudatul. Fraudatul. If there was a chance, Klein planned on getting his marionettes to continue shouting Akussis and Herabergen. Utopia's surrounding instantly turned gloomy as if it continued the indescribable wrath of nature. I should raise the volume, I'm sorry. Before Zaratul could take the step, the night sky instantly produced different colors of lightning. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they wantonly expanded. They seemed to envelop the entire sky into the sea of lightning. I scrolled down too much. Okay, we're good. Boom, boom. Zara bum. Boom, boom, boom. Before the deafening sounds could be heard, the lightning blasted like a torrential rain in Utopia. POV change. The roasted archipelago, new city of silver, the top of the spire. Derek Berg, who was looking at the source of the earthquake, heard the sounds of door and windows opening at the same time. Furthermore, it repeated thousands of times. Although it didn't bring him any direct danger, the bizarre change still made Derek very wary. Without some hesitation, he prepared to seek out the current chief, Wade Shermont, and suggest using the god-level sealed artifact Proof of Glory. He wanted to first protect the new city of Silver and the nearby New Moon City. Then he decided to pray to Mr. Fool based on the progress of the anomaly. Just as he turned around and walked to the door, Wade Shermont, who was a dark symbol engraved on his head, walked out from the corridor light. He said in a deep voice, "The seal underground has failed. The seal has failed." Derek instinctively believed that it had something to do with the anomaly in Blue Mountain Island. Compared to the door and windows open, the consequences of the seal's failure was extremely terrifying. Immediately used the Proof of Glory, Derek said without hesitation. This was a god-level sealed artifact that could be used for a short period of time. It had once held the City of Silver, avert repeated disasters in the forsaken lands of the gods, allowing them to persist until the present era and obtain salvation. Derek's thoughts were very clear. He was using the Proof of Glory to suppress the other god-level sealed artifacts, Gift of the Land. The suppression effects would soon affect the Saint-level sealed artifact that would have negative effects on the surroundings. Wait Shermont didn't say anything else. He immediately made up his mind and brought Derek underground using the light as concealment. Proof of Glory requires at least 2 saints before it could be utilized. This was the reason why Wait Shermont didn't immediately head underground and came to find Derek first. Of course, if he wanted to make use of it simply, there were tricks to do so, but he had to be prepared in advance to brand the corresponding mark on his body. Bam, Cathedral of Waves. A bolt of lightning shot into Alger Wilson's room, turning into a hurried voice. Your evidence, most of the underground seals have failed. Only a certain item remains in a balanced state thanks to their effects. Alger brows twitched as he combined it with the phenomenon of opening doors and windows. In Bayham City, happening at the same time, he sensed that something was amiss. He immediately said to the void, all of you immediately form groups of 3, take out grade 2 and 3 sealed artifacts that won't cause immediate danger, or those with living characteristics from underground to prevent any chain reactions. This way, the underground area would have become uninhabited. The dangerous sealed artifacts would be able to cause casualties within a short period of time. With the passage of time, when the anomaly of the seals losing their effects passed, the mandated punishers would have time to deal with the items. However, the premise was that they hadn't lost control of the 3 grade 1 sealed artifacts. Once there was a problem with them, the negative effects would soon affect the entirety of Bayham. However, with the seal no longer working, it was very different for the 3 items to remain without problems. The first thought that flashed through Alger's mind was to bring alone the ones whose negative effects had the greatest range. Then, using his own powers to make temporary restrictions, he would fly to the sea and away from Bayham. Oh my goodness. This wasn't too dangerous for him for a short period of time. After all, he was a demigod. The biggest problem was that the remaining 2 grade 1 seal artifacts would undoubtedly cause serious damage to Bayham. At least I did my best. Alger felt that this method was safe and could handle the subsequent investigations from the Church of the Lords of Storms. It was pretty good. His gaze subconsciously looked out the window. It corresponded to the few schools and the workhouses near the cathedral. Alger retracted his gaze and fell silent for 2 seconds before sighing. He continued, leave the rest to me. His words transformed into electric waves that transformed into silver lightning that flew underground. And that was the chapter. Imagine Mother Goddess and Depravity and Femlin together. Raw. The world would quake. That'd be too much power. Chapter 1351 is called Seizing the Opportunity. And by seizing the opportunity, we're going to stop and take our first official ad break. Nah, I'm fucking kidding, imagine. Seizing the opportunity. While transmitting information, the mandated punchers, Alger quickly came up with a plan in his mind. He was to immediately pray to the Lords of Storms, hoping to obtain the Lord's blessings or help. Then he would immediately rush underground and use his beyond powers to forcefully suppress the 3 grade 1 seal artifacts inside Azure Gate. During this process, the Lords of Storms responded to his prayers, or if the abnormality regarding the seals ended in time, there was naturally no need for him to consider any other responses. However, if neither of the 2 outcomes occurred and he began to find it difficult to handle the situation, then he would seek Mr. Fool's help. To Alger, once he had to do so, no matter what method he used or how he concealed it, it would be difficult for him to escape the fate of being suspected. After all, it was unbelievable for a single person to suppress 3 grade 1 seal artifacts single-handedly. When the time came, his only option was to immediately abandon his post after the abnormality ended or the seal began working again. His departure would waste all his years of diligence and hard work, causing him to lose his post as a cardinal, which he had painstakingly obtained. However, compared to his own life, this was a price he was willing to pay. Wow. As for the consequences resulting in him almost not having any chance of attaining the Book of Calamity, Alger didn't care about it at most. He was still a great distance away from considering such problems. Of course, as a demigod of the Church of the Storms and a cardinal, he believed that he was definitely under the watch of the Lords of Storms. After abandoning his job and escaping, he needed the protection of other existences to survive, otherwise his outcome would be unimaginable. And regarding this matter, he can only rely on Mr. Fool. Kami finding the corruption right now with his head, with the head mod power still under ezgeeky. And regarding this matter, he would only rely on Mr. Fool. Taking a deep breath, Olger quickly chanted, Olger Trader Arc, here we go. The king ruling up over the skies, the emperor who controls the seas, the great gods of storms, I pray for you to wash and pray for your blessings. After chanting, Olger reached out his hand, bringing with the hurricane as he flew underground. About 10 seconds later, I find it weird though that we're getting into Olger towards the end of the Hanged Man arc. So I feel like we're going to have like some heavy Olger moments coming up. After chanting, Olger reached out his hand, bringing with him a hurricane as he flew underground. About 10 seconds later, outside the Cathedral of Waves, there was a tidal wave that surged into the air. The blue sea water poured down, enveloping the cathedral in a thick fog. Inside the barrier, silver bolts of lightning flashed as they drilled in the ground rumble. The lightning struck down like a torrential rain, illuminating all of Utopia, illuminating more than half of the Berserk Sea. At that moment, a pitch-black cathedral with many embedded skulls appeared in midair. It was situated above Zaratul and drew all the surrounding lightning towards it, causing bolts of lightning to snake across the countless white skulls, causing the stained glass to reflect a bright light rumble. In the places Adam's Corpse Cathedral couldn't shelter, Zaratul's marionettes, Abomination Sua's historical projection, as well as Klein marionettes were instantly obliterated by the tempestuous lightning. Then they either vanished or reduced to tiny marks. Even Roselle Gustav's historical projection that had turned into a flux of information wasn't spared. A strong electromagnetic hurricane wreaked havoc in the city, destroying all information structures. Taking advantage of the moment, the visionary was fending off the tyrant. Zaratul took a step forward and entered the void again. And this void was connected to another island. Once he had previously set in the Berserk Sea using his Beyonder powers as Attendant mysteries, the distance between the two was reduced to 0. The black-robed hooded Zaratul quickly vanished into the void, illuminated by light, but in the next second he didn't appear on the distant island, but above the Irises Hotel in Utopia. Just a moment ago, when Zaratul was stunned by the might of the storms, Klein, who was in Sephira Castle, took the opportunity to use the curtain that was draped over his body and used the powers of Sephira to forcefully grab the void in front of his target to the Irises Hotel. He had secretly changed Zaratul's key arrangement. This was the suppression effect of the Kings of Angels against a Sequence 1 Angel of the Pathway Rumble. The ceaselessness lightning smote down, enveloping Zaratul, who had long and white whiskers on his face. Zaratul's pitch-black eyes didn't show any change in expression. His body rapidly faded and disappeared into the bolts of lightning. He had only come in a form of historical void projection. His true body was hiding in a particular fragment in the fog of history. Sitting in the fool's chair, Klein merely cast his gaze at the grayish-white fog below him, as well as the countless spots of light in the fog. He was temporarily unable to find Zaratul because the latter definitely used a secret fragment of history that only he or a very small number of existences knew. However, being unable to find him didn't mean that Klein could only watch and patiently wait until Zaratul reached his limits and was unable to stay in the fog of history. As the owner of Sephira Castle and the existences with the level of Kings of Angels, Klein preliminary control of Sephira Castle was already enough to complete many things. In the next second, Klein opened the box and summoned the full card, accommodating it inside his body. In the blink of an eye, he transformed into the fool, who wore colorful clothes and a gorgeous headdress. He exuded a deep, terrifying aura, as well as somewhat ridiculous feelings. The entire Sephira Castle began to shake gently. Tack. The full Klein held the end of the Staff of the Stars in his right hand and struck the edge of the long model table. In the real world, grayish-white fog appeared, one that had a faintly visible ancient palace situated high above. In the ancient and majestic palace, a strange light formed from countless spherical lights quickly outlined itself, emitting an invisible, terrifying suction force. The fog of history instantly boiled as Zaratul's figure quickly appeared in a spot where Klein hadn't lit up. He was hoisted up without being able to stop it. Law of Beyonder characteristics convergence. With the help of Sephira Castle, Klein projected the convergence of power of Beyonder characteristics into the fog of history. At this moment, Zaratul's black-robed, hooded figure collapsed and became a pale paper figurine. His true body appeared on another island in the Berserk Sea. He quickly used the Attendant mysteries Beyonder powers to connect the convergence inclination effect to various paper figurines. Seizing the opportunity given to him by the paper figurines, Zaratul quickly made a wish. I wish for my Beyonder characteristics to temporarily calm down. Just as he finished speaking and pressed his palm together, he had already caught the sight of his fulfilled wish. This allowed him to escape the suction force from Sacrificial Castle, the full card, and the Attendant of Mysteries beyond their characteristics collective. At the same time, he took a step back and accurately stepped on a milky white rock. The stone had long been connected to somewhere else by him and had been solidified in some form. As Zaratul stepped down, his figure instantly vanished. It was unknown where he had gone, but the stone seemed to be experiencing extreme weathering as it disintegrated. The full Klein cast his gaze down from an infinite height and scanned the surroundings, but he couldn't find Zaratul. This meant that the other party had left his line of sight. Without any hesitation, Klein immediately placed his focus on something else. He had already made all the gems of Staff of Stars light up as he stimulated the Marauder Pathway's ability to deceive rules. He changed the location of his body revival to a marionette that was in Utopia. Previously, a few residents of Utopia had gone to other cities for various reasons. By going there, they would further deepen their relationship with the real world. Klein had chosen a travel enthusiast who was now in a particular mountain range. As the second half of his resurrection was carried out, Klein took out the full card. He summoned the 9 unique Spirit World specialties he had prepared previously and placed them together with a curtain. Right on the heels of that, he used the Staff of Stars to activate the powers of Sacrificial Castle and once again stimulated the powers of the Marauder Pathway ability to deceive the rules, allowing the 9 Spirit World specialties and that curtain to become a part of his body. In the next second, countless fragments of light appeared around the marionettes that was halfway up the mountain. And inside of the marionette's body, a wormwood spirit flew out. It kept fracturing and fusing with fragments of light. Soon, the fragments of light condensed into a ball of light as it solidified into Klein's figure. Just as Klein's figure finished outlining, he turned into transparent maggots that scattered in all directions, allowing the curtain and the 9 Spirit World specialties to drop to the ground. Then the worms of spirit completely the reassembly process, and part of them turned into a half-top hat, a shirt, a vest, a formal suit, and trousers. Bro, it's like, this is so hard to envision right now. Klein didn't waste any time. He immediately grabbed the curtain and the specialties of the Spirit World and began to carefully concoct the potion. To him, this was the best time to advance to Attendant of Mysteries. On the one hand, the effects of the ritual had been completed with the help of Genie. This wouldn't last long, and it would gradually disappear. On the one hand, Adam, who was most likely to destroy his ritual, was being suppressed by the Lords of the Storms and had no time to interfere. If he were to consume the potion and advance to Sequence 1 at any other time, Klein was really worried that Visionary Adam would make use of the Sea Collective Subconscious to inject a negative emotion into him at a critical moment. That way, losing control was inevitable. The reason why he had called Leodero wasn't to deal with Zaratul, but to hold back the true god Adam. During the Attendant of the Mysteries ritual, there was no way to use the powers of Sacrificial Castle to produce a nascent form of a divine kingdom in advance. Isolating Klein from the outside world, this would result in the ritual. It's hard, man. It's hard to understand this right now. It's hard. It's hard. I love asking random people about their beefs with username. It's so funny. We need to talk about it. It's really hard, bro. I'm telling you, I'm hanging on a very thin line right now. I feel too overwhelmed today. It's like too much has been happening. The reason why he had called you. Let me go back up. Let me reread this page. Klein didn't waste any time. He immediately grabbed the curtain and the specialties of the Spirit World and began to carefully concoct the potion. To him, this was the best time to advance. Dude, there's no way he's gonna advance, bro. Like, there's no shot he's advancing right now. To him, this was the best time to advance to Attendant of the Mysteries. On one hand, the effects of the ritual had been completed with the help of the Genie. This wouldn't last long, and it wouldn't gradually disappear. On the one hand, dude, now he has the upper hand for the fight. This wouldn't gradually disappear. On the other hand, Adam, who was most likely to destroy his ritual, was being suppressed by the Lords of Storms and had, because he has no time to interfere, is the best time to advance. Now, I'm like, this is a really bad time. No, I'm reading it, but just like, I don't know how to react, man. Too much happened today. If he were to consume the potion and advance to Sequence 1 at the other time, Klein was really worried that Visionary Adam would make use of the Sea of the Collective Subconscious to inject a negative emotion into him at a critical moment. That way, losing control was inevitable. The reason why he had called it Leodero wasn't to deal with Zaratul, but to hold back the true god Adam. During the Attendant of the Mysteries ritual, there was no way to use the power of Sacrificial to produce a nascent form of a divine kingdom in advance. Isolating Klein from the outside world, this would result in the ritual being unable to establish a connection with the corresponding region. I don't get this part. This would result in the ritual being unable to establish a connection with the corresponding region in the spirit world, resulting in failure. In less than 10 seconds, a potion that was as dark as the night sea appeared in Klein's palm. At the same time, the figure left in Sacrificial snapped his fingers, granting the small number of wishes accumulated in the prayers of light and the crimson stars, allowing him to digest the last spit of his miracle invoker potion, and he fully digested it right here. The figure inside Sacrificial immediately faded away, allowing Klein's body to become complete so that he could consume the potion. I'm sorry, did he even fully digest his potion? So that he could consume the potion in his best condition. When did we, like... When did we read that he's fully digested? As the lightning lit up the sea once again, Klein raised his right hand and brought the bottle that came from the marionette to his mouth. He gulped down the potion that was as light as air. Oh, shit. Second to last chapter is fucking called Attendant of Mysteries. Get the fuck out of here. I'm like... What? God, man, this is a really difficult stream for me today, if you guys can't tell. Chapter 1352 is called The Attendant of Mysteries. Oh, that is hype. As the Attendant of Mysteries potion entered his body, Klein immediately felt a burgeoning feeling. In the blink of an eye, he lost his perception of his body and worms of spirit. He watched helplessly as they dissipated and fused into the spirit world that couldn't be described with ordinary words or common sense. It was as though he was about to disintegrate into abstract and random pieces of information. At that moment, Klein only barely maintained his consciousness and had self-awareness. He's just like that. He floated in the spirit world filled with countless strange figures. After losing the ability to sense his body and beyond her characteristics, he began experiencing all kinds of thoughts, information, knowledge, symbols, and labels. He completely lost himself and was tethering on the border of fusing with the spirit world. If this continued, Klein would definitely be completely lost, but at this moment, there was a connection between the spirit world and his consciousness. That place, corresponding to a town, the people inside lived ordinary lives. They had their own names, their stories, and their fates. They interweaved with each other, bringing about a complete information in the spirit world, which was the concept of abstracts. The town was eventually destroyed by a calamity and buried into the dust of history. Klein disappeared with a mist, almost fusing with the spirit world body. Under the guidance of fate, he fused with the spirit world projection of the different utopian marionettes, allowing him to become corporeal again. So he's fusing. Okay. Bayam, deep underground in the cathedral waves, in a room that was no longer sealed, Alger extended his hand and pressed down on the door in front of him. The surface of the door was blue in color with numerous mysterious odd reliefs protruding out. It was ajar and there was no light behind the door. It was unknown which world it was connected to. The darkness seems to have a life of its own. At this moment, a stream of water silently surged out, eroding the surrounding area. Bang. Alger's feet exerted strength, causing the ground to crack and spew out scarlets, nearly white. Lava, this was a calamity he had created. His goal was to prevent the darkness from advancing. However, after surging lava entered the darkness, it disappeared without a trace. The darkness shrank back a little and paused for a second before continuing its corrosion. Boom. Alger continuously created hurricanes, torrential rain, and lightning calamities. Blocking the darkness again and again, he held the azure gate firmly with both hands, not letting it open further. If he were to only face the grade 1 sealed artifact, Alger would have been completely fine. He would even have the capacity to attempt sealing it, but at this moment, he had still two similarly dangerous items around him. This forced him to sing loudly. Did his singing get better? He used the melody of death to influence his surroundings and disrupt the operation of the other sealed artifacts. Then he built a wall formed from blue seawater beside him. However, the wall was slowly being dyed grayish-white as if it had been petrified, yet the pandemonium didn't yield it and extended towards Alger's body. I can last for at most 30 seconds. The Lords of the Storms hadn't responded the entire time. Thoughts raced through Alger's mind as he suppressed his unwillingness and reluctance. He quickly made a decision. Without any hesitation, he merely accentuated a hexagonal crystalline snowflake on his palm. This was the mark left behind after he participated in Terror Club for the first time. It could be substitute to reciting of the honorific name and allow Mr. Fool to cast his gaze over Blue Mountain Island within the primitive forest. At the door of the flesh and blood, spherical lights collapse and converge in an attempt to undergo a qualitative change. They seemed to form a body consisted of a series of doors. The body wore the blood-colored tidal waves at its robe as its body constantly repped and changed, reflecting different ranges of the plants. At this moment, a blinding ray of sunlight shone through the darkness. It descended from the astral world and melted everything it encountered along the way. Other than this ray of sunlight, an indescribable darkness of night surged over, attempting to devour Mr. Dor Bethel Abraham, who was seeking to advance to sequence 0. My brain almost melting, bro. Check me out. I'm barely hanging in there. Okay, Mr. Dor Bethel. Other than this ray of sunlight, an inscrutable darkness of night surged over. When the fuck was this happening? Attempting to devour Mr. Dor Bethel Abraham, who was seeking to advance to sequence 0. The land where the altar was quaked violently, tearing open a huge hole in a bid to devour the door of flesh and blood, and Bethel Abraham to fall deep into the core and face the chaos sea that contained all possible colors and possibilities. Following that, a blurry light seeped out from the void and enveloped the forest, attempting to restore the basic structure of the trees, mud, and altar. And at the only gap in the light, a pair of brass-colored eyes emerged. They stared at the door of flesh and blood and Bethel Abraham, hoping to reflect them in their eyes. Mr. Dor... Music! Oh, shit! Music, music, music! Following that, as I find my place... Following that, a blurry light seeped out from the void and enveloped the forest, attempting to restore the basic structure of trees, mud, and altar. And only gap in the light, a pair of brass-colored eyes emerged. They stared at the door, flesh and blood, at Bethel Abraham, hoping to reflect them into their eyes. Mr. Dor let out a lower roar, causing his blood-colored robe to flare up. The robe connected to the evil tie that surged behind the door of flesh and blood, spreading the crimson moonlight. Remember, another music change at familiar voice, familiar voice, familiar voice, familiar voice. Okay. The moment it touched the moonlight, the indescribable night... Oh my god, I cannot read. So much happening. Somebody has to give me like the Spark Note versions right now once we're done, man. Oh my god. Think and read. It's hard, man. I can only do one at a time right now. I don't have enough brain power today. The moment it touched the moonlight, the inscrutable night that could not be seen gathered on its own. It stretched out its limbs and heads, turning into a shadowy female human. Okay? It possessed its own life, and its consciousness was no longer controlled by its user. Without any exception, the blinding sunlight transformed into a young man wearing fiery armor. The shaking ground grew eyes and closed its mouth. The screen that was transformed from a faint light revealed terrifying facial features. Around the brass-colored eyes, eyelashes emerged, transforming into wings. These obstructions and interference fell into the chaos, giving Mr. Dor a chance for a breather. Seizing this opportunity, he entered the final step of becoming a god. Everybody's becoming a fucking god at this point. Holy shit. At that moment, the door of flesh and blood suddenly collapsed and covered Mr. Dor's body, making him seem to turn into another person. Okay? Klein's body seemed to disassociate into countless people. They had their own preferences, their personalities, determination, and their fates. They lived in a town known as Utopia. Okay, Void, let me read your explanation. Thank you. No, I'm not understanding, man. This is hard. Dor escaping his seal and trying to advance to 0 at the same time. Okay, I got that part. He's trying to escape and advance to 0. But at the same time, the Orthodox gods are jumping him to stop him because they said if he comes back, it's going to like bring about a huge like catastrophe. Like they said, it's really dangerous for him to come back. I remember that part. These people quickly lived their short lifespans, waking up under the heavy storm. They came to their senses and realized what their identity was in essence. It was Zoe Minguri and also Klein Moretti. Yes, that one. Yeah, it's like he's corrupt and he's only rational at a few points, right? Yeah, because he's crazy. Klein's body seemed to disassociate into countless people. They had their own preferences, their personalities, their determination, and their fates. They lived in a town known as Utopia. These people quickly lived their short lifespans, waking up under the heavy storms. They came to their senses and realized what their identity was in essence. It was Zoe Minguri and also Klein Moretti. They were also Sherlock Moriarty, German Sparrow, Dwayne Dantes, and Merlin Hermes. One thing could have many names, but its nature wouldn't change. The people raised their heads and looked up into infinity from the illusionary city in the spirit world. They are the inevitable, his circle. They saw the illusionary and thin spirit body threads, and they saw a symbol made up of a pupilless eye and the partly contorted lines. With a symbol at the core, Klein's figure outlined itself, his eyes tightly shut. Worms of spirit, bits of beyond characteristics, and bits of his self-awareness flew out from the spirit world, corresponding to the utopian area, and towards Klein's slightly illusionary body, allowing it to slowly become corporeal. At this point, there were no clear boundaries between Klein's spirit body and his physical body. They were both one and separate, and also in a rather delicate state. In other words, I don't know. In other words, a spirit body could be equivalent to a body of flesh and blood. His physical body could also fuse with his spirit body. As long as Klein was willing, he could switch. As long as Klein was willing, he could switch between. So they're no longer different. It's like one and of the same. He could switch between the two. Of course, he could also separate his physical body from his spirit body. All of them had their individual traits, and they could be decided based on a mere thought. 2 seconds later, the reassembly process was completed. Klein, who was floating in the depths of the spirit world, opened its eyes. His pupils were dark, without any light. He had already advanced to sequence 1 and became an attendant of mysteries. Without a sound, the grayish-white fog appeared behind him. Above the fog was an ancient palace. Inside the palace stood a door that was stained with bluish-black, formed from countless spherical lights. The door of light appeared rather clearly in the spirit world. It separated out a rather blurry phantom and cast it at Klein's body. As the phantom turned into a complicated symbol, it imprinted itself between Klein's brows. His brows? Eyebrows? The entire spirit world and the real world outside began to gently shake as though they had encountered an earthquake from afar. At that moment, Klein's surroundings turned dark and illusionary. Stars appeared one after another. They surrounded the strange door of light as though they wanted to lump together. And these illusionary stars, the largest, the two overlapped and corresponding to an area in the real world. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth stars were located somewhere else. Stars? And the 6 stars were located somewhere else. Through the illusionary stars, Klein saw Mr. Dor and Amon on a particular island. He saw Antigonus and the dilapidated palace inside the concealed world. And Zaratul, who was hiding somewhere unknown. He fucking sees everything. He saw Palazaros and Leonard's body in dark demonic wolf Kotor. With the help of these changes caused by further deepening his control over Sephira Castle, Klein found the angels and kings of angels corresponding to the 3 pathways of mysteries. Of course, such a vision only lasted a few seconds. Once Amon and Zaratul reacted and used the correct method to conceal themselves, Klein would no longer be able to lock onto their true bodies. Without any hesitation, Klein raised his right hand and snapped his fingers. The staff of stars that was originally placed in Sephira Castle had appeared in his palm. He also split a portion of the worms of spirit to let them enter Sephira Castle to prevent any abnormalities and respond to his believers. I don't even know how we adapt this, bro. Like, how do we even adapt this? After becoming an attendant of mysteries, Klein's control over Sephira Castle deepened, allowing him to take out items from inside at any time. In and out, whenever he wants. And the next second, the various gems of Staff and Stars lit up as Klein's figure vanished from the spirit world. He instantly wandered to a swamp and arrived in front of Zaratul. Dressed in a hood and a black robe, the white bearded Zaratul didn't panic. He used the Attendant of Mysteries beyond the powers to make all kinds of connections, and he extended his left hand and grabbed into the void ahead. Gradually, Oliver's body turned grayish white, almost about to petrify. Could it be that Mr. Fool doesn't favor me because of my failure to monitor Verdu? No, Oliver, don't doubt yourself like that. Could it be that Mr. Fool doesn't favor me because of my failure to monitor Verdu? He frowned slightly, wanting to give up, but he stayed underground. Beat his ass. At any moment, a grayish-white fog appeared in front of him. All the sealed artifacts fell silent. After Mr. Dor Bethel Abraham was enveloped by the door of flesh and blood, a familiar voice. Oh, familiar voice. It's the mysterious of Elotim. The mysteriousness of Elotim really got me today, man. Like, the mysteries really got me today. All the answers to the mysteries is just too much. I understand everything perfectly on my first read. I think if I were to read this to myself at my own pace, nice and slow in my head, I'd be able to follow a lot easier because I can like take my time, and I don't know, but it's weird. I don't know if I'm coping saying that, but at least I've always been good when I read stuff to myself. But oh my goodness, man, After Mr. Door Abraham was enveloped by the door of flesh and blood, a familiar voice echoed in his ears. You wish to bring the disaster back to the real world. Bethel Abraham's actions instantly slow down. Give up. I have a way to deal with it. I'll let you sleep and let you get peace you want. That familiar voice. Who the fuck is this familiar voice? That familiar voice sounded again. So this is the last chapter. Read slowly. Don't worry about it. We're going to read super slow, man. I'm thinking 10 sentences per minute right now. This is too much. The goat. Love that guy? We'll see who it is. The goat? The goat is a familiar voice? No? Okay. You guys ready? Last chapter. Here we go. Here we go. Music changed at the end of the chapter. All right, let me know. I sounded so... Dude, I'm going back. I was so confident in the beginning of stream saying, I'ma fully understand everything. You guys are doubting me too much, bro. I was so fucking wrong. I feel like I'm more confused than I was in the beginning of the stream, bro. I think it's because I'm just overwhelmed. Too many mysteries were answered in this stream. All right, here we go. Chapter 1353 is called Sacrificial Victim. Fuck does that even mean? Mr. Door's figure that had shrunk from the ball of light came to a halt as though he had fallen into an intense internal struggle. The layered doors in his body were just short of fully being reassembled. Amidst the illusory whooshing sounds, the crimson tide that barely squeezed through the gap in a door of flesh and blood became even more turbulent. The blood-colored robe landed heavily, about to envelop Bethel Abraham once again. However, as it descended to the brass-colored eyes, the young man in the firing armor, the hazy barrier of light that accentuated the terrifying facial features, the ground with open eyes and closed mouths, and the shadowy woman vanished silently from the window. In that instant, a blazing sun appeared above the forest. Day replaced the night, causing all the shadows to rapidly disappear. This caused the blood-colored robe to rise once again, scattering even more crimson moonlight, causing all disturbances to return to their mother's embrace. What's going on here? Seizing this opportunity, Mr. Door's illusory eyes closed, and he lowered his head. All right, he painfully said the first word after his return to reality. His figure completely froze as he raised his right hand and pressed it to his face. The next second, Mr. Door lifted his head and wore a crystal... Oh, shit, what the fuck? What the fuck? What do you mean he wore a crystal monocle? The next second, Mr. Door lifted his head and wore a crystal monocle on his right eye. Wait. Oh, fuck you! Fuck you! Yes! I don't mean fuck you, clown man. I love you. Oh, shit! Wait. He had to steal another... He had to steal the ritual of another person trying to ascend to Sequence 0. I'm sorry, is he stealing? Holy shit, he is stealing Bethel's chance to ascend. I was like, that is such a stupid fucking ritual. Who the fuck is gonna be able to pull that shit off? He fucking pulled it off. The next second, Mr. Door lifted his head and wore a crystal monocle on his right eye. A beam of light erupted from the monocle, illuminating the entire world. Wow, my man just fucking became a god. This bitch. At that moment, all the errors of the seals that had failed were fixed. Everything that seemed normal showed errors. All the clocks jumped several seconds forward. Oh my god. That is so good. So fucking good. The Marauder Sequence 0 error ritual was to replace someone during their apotheosis ritual, and Mr. Door return seems to directly trigger his apotheosis ritual. Wait, does that mean he switched to doors? No, it's like he didn't go on his pathway. He just... That's the thing I don't get. Like, we're still error, right? We're still Sequence 0 error. To replace someone during their apotheosis ritual, and Mr. Door's return seemed to directly trigger his apotheosis ritual. The light converged immediately, and Mr. Door had turned into a mon with his pointed hat and classical back robe. Oh, he's fucking both? Moreover, oh no, they're compatible. Moreover, Door and error are compatible. He got the door unique. Oh, so he also got the door uniqueness. It's a dual pathway? Bro, what the how the fuck do we beat this guy now? He is both error and a door? Bro, how the fuck does that make any sense? How do we even combat this? How do we even go up against this? Like, dude, Adam and Amon are just too fucking broken. Like, how the fuck are we supposed to stand a chance against these guys? I don't get it, bro. Like, how do we even combat these people? There's a point in like a series when like a bad guy gets too strong and the characters are too weak. You're like, I don't get it. How do we do this? But we will find out. Truly a mystery. Okay. The light converged immediately, and Mr. Door had turned into Amon with his pointed hat and classical black robe. The blasphemer held a simple and unadored key that seemed to be forged from pure starlight in his hand. Dude, I'm getting hot. I feel like I have a fever right now. Above him, the blood-colored robe descended, wanting to embrace him into its arms. Behind him, the Crimson Tide angrily squeezed through the remnants of door and flesh and blood in the last bit to enter the world. In that short moment, the blood-colored moon glowed even brighter, blocking the sun, night, earth, blurry light, and the strange white towering outside. Faced with the corruption from the outer deities, Amon's lips curled up slightly. He extended his right hand and took out an abnormally ancient stone slab from an unknown location. The first blasphemy slate. Then he used the stone slab formed from the Chaos Sea to block the remnant opening of the door in flesh and blood. Wait, Evernight has 3? Last time I saw her, Hope. What? I thought Evernight switched though, because she gave the moon to Lilith. So I thought that's her giving it away. No, let me keep reading. Then he used the stone slab formed from the Chaos Sea to block the remnant opening the door of flesh and blood. Then he used it as a substitute to receive the falling blood-colored robe. The first blasphemy slate turned illusionary as though it connected to an infinite sea that contained all possible colors. Huh? She's triple? What are the 3? Death, darkness, moon, and... She just had the uniqueness. It was not accommodated. No, remember, every night is... Oh, the star. My brain is all jumbled up right now. I took in too much info today. This is hard. I need to go back and just listen to the stream. Before I make the video public, I'm gonna just listen to it, or I'll make it. I'll listen it alongside you guys. The first blasphemy slate turned illusionary as though it was connected to an infinite sea that contained all possible colors. The sea surged and swallowed the blood-colored robe, blocking the Crimson Tide from the cosmos. They already collapsed doors of flesh and blood rapidly shrank before quickly disappearing. An angry and terrifying roar resounded in the air from within. In the next second, the crimson moon appeared in the sky. The color quickly faded and turned pure. On it was a huge, distorted crimson figure. She has everything except Sephira to become GOO. Okay. Did I skip something? No. Okay. Wearing a pointed hat and a classical black robe, Amon adjusted the monocle on his right eye and waved his hand at the crimson figure and the bright moon that were staring at him. He then smiled and bowed slightly in all directions. In the corpse cathedral that he had erected a gigantic cross were countless skulls that were watching with their own hollow eyes. Adam, who was dressed in a simple white robe, took a look at the ceaselessness lightning outside stained glass. He slowly got up and walked to the pool of blood that Klein had left behind. He bent down and picked up the ancient and mysterious mirror. Oh, shit. Following that, he turned around and walked towards the second blasphemy slate. Oh, that's not good. Adam was dressed in a white robe, took out the lightning bass. Oh, no. Why would he pick up... He took a music change? Following that, he turned around and walked towards the second blasphemy slate. The first figure that Zaratul summoned out of the fog of history was still Rizzo Gustav, who wore a dark coat embedded with gold threads and had chestnut-colored curly long hair. To this attendant of mysteries, there was quite a number of angels that he got to know in his long life. There were only a few things that were stronger than the sequence one knowledge emperor. For example, the Antigonus ancestor before he became the half-fool, Angel of Fate Ouroboros, or the Red of War Brass, who could indirectly obtain the strength of Red Angel. But under such circumstances, Naruto believed that summoning Rizzo Gustav, historical void projection, was first safer. Oh, sorry, I had to burp. Before the Antigonus family ancestor became the half-fool, He too was a sequence one of tentative mysteries. Therefore, he would be suppressed by the enemy who had a deeper control of Sephiric Castle and a level that surpassed most kings of angels. After all, his enemy was closest to a true god. After Zaratul chose to cooperate with the Roscoe Thoughts and Adam, the success rate of summoning the Angel of Fate, Ouroboros, would undoubtedly drop. It wasn't suitable for him to attempt it at a critical moment. The Red of War brass that could borrow the Red Angel's powers didn't possess the strength directly, so the actual effects produced weren't any stronger than the knowledge of Emperor Rizal Gustav. In comparison, Zaratul would definitely choose a historical projection that he was most familiar with the easiest to successfully summon. His plan was to seize the opportunity that Gurmansborough had directly wandered here without preparing any historical void projections in advance to use Knowledge Emperor Rizal Gustav, the Red of War Army Brass, and the Abomination Sua to hold him back and leave him enough time to create a miracle for himself. As soon as Rizal's figure appeared, he merely condensed into complicated and illusory symbols in the eyes in a bid to infuse large amounts of miscellaneous and useless knowledge into his target's mind, causing his brain to explode. I feel like my brain's exploding right now. At the same time, Zaratul used the various connections he had set up in advance to move himself. This swamp was his home ground, as he made the slippery and transparent tentacles penetrate the hooded black robe and stretch into the fog of history. He summoned the Red of War Brass. At that moment, Rizal Gustav's historical projection suddenly turned his head and used a subtle connection to look towards Zaratul's true form. Zaratul's mind was instantly filled with informations and useless knowledge. His brain nearly exploded as he was unable to process his thoughts for a short period of time. He froze in the spot. His gaze was not even changing. The historical projection, Knowledge Emperor Rizal Gustav, that he had summoned had betrayed him. Klein was both surprised and unsurprised by this outcome. It wasn't surprising because this was his own doing. The worms of spirit in Sephiric Castle had already grafted Rizal's present state to the concealed state that Klein had met. Get him? The surprising thing was that Adam had never reminded Zaratul to be careful of Rizal Gustav. Klein had previously sensed the coincidences in certain matters. His preparations included using the full symbol's connection to Rizal Gustav seal. Through the corresponding prayer point of light, he could throw a worm of spirit that contained certain words of intent to his fellow earthlings who was in deep sleep and awaken him. Then, using a miracle, he could temporarily suppress the corruptive powers of the mother goddess of depravity. Back then, the worst case scenario that Klein took precautions against it was something happening to him that prevented him from contacting Sephiric Castle. Oh my god. Bro got him with the infinite void. Frauda Tool, Zara Bum, Loser Tool. I love all of these names, by the way. Back then, the worst case scenario that Klein took precautions against was that if something happened to him that prevented him from contacting Sephiric Castle, as such, the worms of spirit in Sephiric Castle and the worms of spirit that were scattered in different places would end up losing control and be unable to save him. Once the worms of spirit he gave Rizal mutated, Rizal would know that there was something wrong. He could then use the powers of a Black Emperor to distort order to... What? Use the powers of Black Emperor to distort the order to maintain the worm of spirit's lucidity. I feel like I'm lucid right now. For a certain period of time. As for what plan the worms of spirit and Rizal would come up with to save himself, Klein didn't know either. This was a real reason why he could hide from Adam. With his experience in the Hall of Truth, Klein knew that he wouldn't have any secrets when facing the Visionary. Any rescue plans, be it figured out from the past or on the spot, would be seen and heard clearly by Adam. At his level, the only way to avoid it was if even he himself didn't know how to save himself. Oh, so he wouldn't even know. Of course, Visionary Adam knew without a doubt that Klein had a worm of spirit in Rizal Gustav's Black Emperor's mausoleum. He knew that his backup plan definitely came from this, but he wasn't able to pry into the secrets of it, because it was contaminated by the mother goddess of depravity. It was a place that had been corrupted by the cosmos, and then brought by prying into Rizal Gustav was like prying into an outer deity. This, please tell me COI isn't this complicated. Does it get easier? Like when we read COI, does this start off like at a low power level and then we gradually work our way up again? Or does it just keep going? Like we go back, right? Like we're gonna be chilling at like the sequence 9 level for a little bit, and we just start finding some goons and thugs like in an alleyway, and like that's it, and then we work our way up, right? This was a difference in level because I really liked that. We go back and thank fucking God. Thank God we go back. I need like a reboot, you know? Like I need a reboot where we slowly raise the power level again. I am so happy reading that. Easy will not like it. No, I am excited. I am euphoric reading that. It was precisely because of this that Klein could calmly ask all kinds of secrets and reach the second blasphemy slate. On the one hand, I feel hot right now, bro. I feel like I'm getting sick. It was precisely because of this that Klein could calmly ask all kinds of secrets and read the second blasphemy slate. On the one hand, knowledge was indeed tempting, and on the other hand, he was stalling for time, waiting for the other side to complete the task of rescuing him. At the same time, he didn't want to occupy his mind, otherwise he couldn't help but think about how he could save himself. As a result, Klein began to suspect that other than the unknown reasons as to why Adam had shared so many secrets with him was because he was also trying to lure him into thinking of the solutions he would use to save himself. Oh, and that way Adam would know, so as to find clues and stop him in advance. Therefore, the question and answer session in the Corpse Cathedral was a clash of minds. Ah, that's why it was so unlike him. Klein had to constantly control himself to prevent his thoughts from going crazy. The demoness got too easy. And under this premise, Adam clearly knew that there might be problems with Zrogustov, but he didn't remind Zaratul. Regardless of the reason, Klein... I'm sorry, this is the last chapter, right? Regardless of the reason, Klein had no intention of letting this opportunity slip. He immediately raised the Staff of Stars in his hand and skillfully... I'm losing my voice. Whoa, and skillfully stimulated Amon's Worms of Spirit powers. Gong. Why is there a gong? An ancient modeled stone clock phantom appeared. Its face was separated into 12 different segments by grayish white and bluish black colors. Each segment represented a different symbol of time. An ancient modeled stone clock phantom appeared. Who summoned this fucking gong? Klein had no intention. On one of the three needles in the middle, the stone clock jumped and Zaratul's body froze on the spot. Klein immediately transformed into a maggot vortex that extended countless slippery tentacles. In the middle of the vortex was a strange door of light. The door of light. It's Klein. Okay. Music changed at Corpse Cathedral. Okay. The door of light didn't move as the vortex swirled around it. A terrifying suction force forcefully pulled out the bionic characteristics within Zaratul's body. This was the method Palazaros had used to deal with Amon's avatar back then. He had relied on his position to forcibly gather characteristics. Bit by bit, the bionic characteristics flew out at an accelerating rate. By the time Zaratul escaped his frozen body in the mental explosion, he was already unable to extricate himself. He could only watch helplessly as he was completely carried into the dark and gloomy maggot whirlpool. The least confused Volume 7 reader. Clearly the least confused. A few seconds later, the vortex outlined its body again, and Klein landed on his feet on the ground. Okay, I get that part. In the fog of history, Zaratul's figure appeared again and again, but it was impossible for him to retrieve his beyond characteristics. In the end, it could only fade away, silently making it difficult for him to complete revive. Klein used ritual's remnant effects that hadn't completely dissipated and directly swallowed Zaratul's characteristics. So GG. He wanted to use this to lower the influence of the celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessings. Music change. As a Corpse Cathedral. Music change. Oh no, why is it paused? Did I just pause it too quickly and I didn't know? Music change. As a Corpse Cathedral. Okay. Here is the finale. Are you guys ready? Volume 7 finale. As the Corpse Cathedral was still floating in the sea of lightning, Adam, who wore a simple white robe and had a faint blonde beard, suddenly appeared at the edge of waters near the ruins of the Battle of Gods. Fuck is he doing? The sea split apart and a path appeared. It led straight to the spot which was stained with the ancient sun god's blood. It led straight to the giant king's court projection, the forsaken lands of the gods. In the depths of the forsaken lands of the gods, at the top of a mountain, there was a huge cross erected, and there was an indistinct figure hanging upside down on it. Wait. So, so Adam just walks straight. Is he walking straight to the true creator? Wait, they're gonna fuse. That's what they were talking about. Like when they eventually fuse to creator. Are we at the end? So we're at the end game. End of the 7th volume, The Hanged Man. So in the depths of the forsaken lands of the gods, at the top of the mountain, there was a huge cross erected, and there was an indistinct figure hanging upside down on it. Oh, man. Oh, my God. I am so confused, bro. It's not even funny. Oh, my God. Dude, dude, I need clarification on everything, bro. Like, it's not even funny, man. It's so overwhelming. Like, you guys literally just need to recap everything. I will look at the artwork first because I did say I'm a visual learner. So it's like Adam gave the world humanity. He betrayed Klein, stabbed him. He pinned him down in Corpse Cathedral and revealed that I made a deal with Amon to help him steal the Sephiroth castle from you. And he said if it was anyone else other than Adam, I wouldn't have done it. But because, Amon. He's like, so because if it was anybody other than Amon, I wouldn't have made the deal. And I would have rather you become the Lord of the Mysteries. But he would rather have his bro, Amon, become that. And help him steal the Sephiroth? Oh, that's why he needs the Sephiroth castle. That's why he wants to steal the Sephiroth castle from him, because he needs it. And then it was revealed during that conversation, the whole Adam is an Adam bit, that Adam was actually the ancient sun god. And now I'm confused on how. So because the ancient sun god, it was because of one of the uniquenesses that he split, right? He had one of the 5 uniquenesses. He had one of I lost my voice. He had one of the uniquenesses, gave it to Adam, and that's how he became ASG. But then we learned that like Adam is doing all this in preparation to assimilate back with the TC, true creator, because if he wasn't this prepared, then technically the true creator would take over, but now he takes over. And then I forgot how we led up to the genie with Bernadette, but the genie made the deal with Klein, like, hey, return me to the cosmos and I'll grant your wishes. And his first wish was to grant the wishes. My God, dude, I'm cooked right now. The wishes were transferred to Klein, so his first wish was technically his third wish, and that killed him, thus freeing him from Adam's grasps in the Corpse Cathedral. And then he made his second wish to transfer Utopia to a different part in the spirit world. That was Klein's plan to rescue himself with the wish side effect. Yeah, the side effect. Okay. That's how he was able to escape from their grasp. Then he escapes. And then the whole part, Verdu asked Medici for help on how to bring back Bethel, i.e. Mr. Door, Bethel Abraham. We found out how to do it. We do the ritual. Didn't Verdu get turned into like a blob of blood? Yeah, second wish was for Utopia to leave the mark in the spirit world. Oh, leave a mark in the spirit world, i.e. fulfilling the ritual. Sorry, leave a mark in the spirit world, fulfilling his ritual. My bad. I thought, what did I say? Change to a different part of the spirit world? Okay. Verdu, instead of Fraudu died. Verdu was baited by Medici and Amon to bring back Bethel so Amon could steal his ritual. Oh, that makes more sense. Wait, does that mean Medici was in on that? Oh, wait, Medici was in on that because Medici has had conversations with Amon in the past. They baited Medici and Amon, baited Verdu. Oh my God. I want to say all this before I look at the artwork because then I'll make it easier to digest it. Medici and Amon baited Verdu to bring back his ancient ancestor, Bethel Abraham. And when he brought that down, Amon would use his Sequence Zero ritual of stealing another Sequence Zero's ritual, i.e. becoming an error and also stealing his pathway and basically having two pathways. You need, oh my God, what the Jesus, hallelujah, did I just read? And then what the fuck happened with Klein in this whole situation? Oh my God, yes. And then Klein decides this is the best opportunity while everybody is distracted and occupied in this whole chaotic shit that's going down. This is the best chance for him to digest his Attendant of Mystery Sequence 1 potion ritual. And I'm sorry, it was never explicitly stated that he fully digested his potion. It just said that he digested a great deal of it. But it never said he fully digested it. Thank you, Adam. So, your fucking bro became a dual pathway god? How the fuck does... that doesn't make any sense. What the fuck? When was that a thing? And at that time, Klein becomes an Attendant of Mysteries, and he was able to see where everybody was from his compatible pathway. So he saw Adam, he saw Amon, he saw everybody else that's related to his thing. It was before Utopia even started, I think. Okay, also if Amon were to do this with any other pathway, he would have gone mad. Yeah, because of they were neighboring. Yeah, the only reason he was able to do this was because Door and Error are compatible. Okay, I'm following. And then after all that, Adam is finally ready to go back to the true creator, and I assume fuse, because they were talking about that, like when they converged, like he didn't have 008 at the time during the fourth epoch, so that's why he never fused with the true creator, because then he would have risked having the true creator take control. But now that he has all this, he's a visionary, he's ready, 008, all this, he's ready to fuse with true creator, and then he gains initial control. That would just make him stronger. I'm sorry, let's look at some artwork. Jesus, dude. Oh my God. Let me open up the artwork. And now we get to look at some artwork. Thank you, Milosh. So we meet again, mystery. So this is a reveal that Adam was actually ASG. Is Klein still impaled? This motherfucker is the ancient sun god? What the fuck? Read my message. So when did you want to do volume 8 again? Right now. We're gonna do it right now. I get it. Me saying that, I am ready. I'm fucking ready, man. I'm fucking reading one chapter today. Whether we're reading after the. I'm gonna watch the PlayStation instead of playing 40 minutes. Because dude, I need a breather. I need a break. I need to watch some video game announcements. Hopefully we get Kingdom Hearts, we get Dragon Quest, we get that Persona 4 remake. Hopefully we get some stuff. We finishing volume 8 today, man. One fucking stream, man. So this was a reveal. God, oh, he's still impaled right here. Oh yeah, it's the cross, the wooden cross. So this is ASG. Oh, this is crazy. Man, people are so fucking artistic, man. God damn. Damn. Wait, let me fix my camera. I should have adjusted my camera by now. There you go. It's better. Oh, they even look different. Is this like a male and then that's a female? Yeah, it is. This is a good picture. Oh, this is cool. So this is when they were chatting? He's just fucking impaled. Damn. This is a cool reveal. Fucking blood on his face. I'm so lost. God Almighty, Creator, Maker, the Omnipotent, Omniscient, Lord of Astral World, Chaos Sea. Oh, so this is artwork of the Chaos Sea? Oh shit, I can finally look at this shit. So this is the first, this is one of the Sephiroths, Chaos Sea. Shadow of Order, Nation of the Sare, the Anarchy. Okay. Bro, man, this series got so, like, conceptual. Right? Like, I'm not the only one, right? Like, there has to be some people that didn't understand this the first time. Fuck is this? There's a crow? Anarchy? Oh, River of Eternal Darkness. Oh, I see it. It's a river. It's a river. Eternal darkness, singularity of all, space, time, and one, river of eternal darkness. Okay, that's the third Sephiroth. Goddess of origin, mother of all, broad hive of filth, the broad hive. Oh, this is this looks like the fucking. This looks like a kraken, dude. Yeah, that's the average Chinese web novel. Pff, no fucking way. I skipped an artwork. Oh shit, I did skip one. Thank you. So this is ancient sun god. I'm sorry. So does that mean Amon is his favorite son? Does that mean, why the fuck does, what the fuck, am I reading Jujutsu Kaisen? What's with this shit on his forehead? What the fuck is he holding? Is he holding something? So that means ancient sun god never liked Adam. He preferred Amon because he was more cunning. He's like, fuck this bitch. I'm gonna kill this dude and I'm gonna just become him. Is that what happened? The titles represent their powers. You can theorize. Bro, I don't even know what to theorize. Like chaosy, you just spam water. Nation of disorder, you make people go crazy. River of eternal darkness, you just make people see darkness. Holy Amon is Kinchaku. That's a JJK spoiler right there. Adam was just a sacrifice waiting to be taken over. Ancient sun god liked Amon so much he made him his bro. That is crazy. He liked his son so much he wanted to become his brother. Broadhive. I feel like we're just summoning krakens at this point. What the fuck is this? This is trippy. What is this on top? So I feel like this thing right here is the Broadhive, but what fuck is this? Calamity of destruction, origins of disaster, city of calamity. So this is like a level entity. I feel like we don't know, but one popular theory is that Adam let ancient sun god revived in him, hence why Amon always called him Zealot. Wait. We don't know, but one particular popular theory is that Adam let ancient sun god willingly revive in him, hence why Amon always called him a zealot, because he knew. Oh, that's why. I guess that's a good theory, because back then Amon even told Klein, well, if anybody were to revive my dad, I feel like it'd more or less be Adam. But like, since he's so cunning, he probably already knew, but he's just like, well, I guess he could, but he knew he already did it. Father of devils, Lord of deviants, source of curses, tenebrous world. Bro, I don't even know how to interpret this now. What is this? The tenebrous world? Oh, this one looks trippy. Demon of knowledge. I see the brain, knowledge, book, knowledge. This dude looks like those creatures from Dungeons and Dragons and Baldur's Gate. Knowledge of more. They look like that one entity. You guys have played Baldur's Gate 3, right? It looks like that. The octopus squid looking thing. Oh my god, I'm forgetting its name. I'm forgetting its species. My theory is that the original Adam always knew, and that was the only reason he was created, but he was okay with that because he was born with a psychological cue to do so. He only specifies Evernight had suspicions and the true creator knew about it too. I feel like the true creator would know, because if the true creator was a part of ancient sun god, I feel like even though he's like the mad portion of him or whatever, I feel like even he would to a certain extent would know, right? More means wilderness. Which one was more? More means wilderness. So that's some crazy mother goddess of depravity shit right there then. Endless. Oh, knowledge more. Duh. Oh, that's why this looks kind of like wood, like tree barks. More wilderness. I see it. I see it. Okay. Key of light. Endless disorder. Incarnation of fate. Key of light. This looks like the sun. Lord of the Mysteries, King of Spacetime, Beacon of Destiny, Embodiment of Sephara Castle, Dominator of the Spirit World, Sephara Castle. Okay, I see that one. I'm sorry. COI has to be like a new main character with a different Sephiroth. Like, there's no shot we have a new main character using the Gray Fog again. Like, nah. Like, there's not gonna be... Like, Book 2 can't be another dude using Sephara Castle. It has to be like some other character using like one of these other ones. That has to be what it is. Oh, and then because Cuttlefish was thinking of book 3, then maybe somebody else is using like the Chaos Sea or like one of these other things. COI, circle inevitability. What's the closest thing to a circle? So book 2, someone's going to be using the Key of Light. That's probably what it is. Wow, shit, there's a lot of artwork. Klein's Escape. This is where he's smiling as the blood is pouring over him. And he just disappears. That's fucking wild. And he leaves a Rhodes. Oh no, a Rhodes. Wait, we got a Rhodes back, right? Because his second wish was to return to a prior state. Thus, returning all his belongings, including a Rhodes, right? So we got a Rhodes back. He's still not in Adam's hands. More is more closely... No? I thought when he said, return myself to a prior state, Adam took it. So he did take it. Oh, I thought when he wished returning me back to a prior state before the battle, all his items would also return to him. Oh, Rhodes is with Adam. That's not good. Oh, Rhodes is so fucking dead. Are you telling me I'm gonna fucking cry when a mirror dies? I have never cried seeing a mirror broken in any piece of fiction. I'm sorry. Did he also lose? No, he didn't lose. What staff is this? He returned his Beyonder characteristics back, but not his items. Is this the Staff of Stars? No, he had that when he was in the Great Fog. He returned himself, not his possessions. He returned himself and his characteristics. Fate and luck. Oh, man. This is some cool ass shit right here. I love how fucking colorful this artwork is. Wait, who the fuck is this? Who is this? White, black hair? Who is this? Is this Mr. Dorn? Oh shit, it is Mr. Dorn. It's so fucking cool. Damn, this bitch is handsome. What the fuck? Who the fuck is this dude? That's him? That's him? He fucking badass. And he's dead. It's GG. He didn't even fucking last 5 minutes. Oh, I literally see it's Mr. Dorn, my message. Sorry, Tunnel Vision. Oh, Mr. Dorn. Yeah. Tunnel Vision. I'm so sorry, Milash. I didn't even read that. I'm so sorry. That was really bad Tunnel Vision. You know who he fucking looks like right here? He looks like fucking Alucard from Castlevania. Just with black hair. Wow. This is a good fucking series. Showed up for like half a chapter, then dies. He's like, I'm back, bitches. It's time for fucking sequence 0. Blah. That's it. Mr. Fraud. It took 5 gods to stop a single Kings of Angels. How many gods? Wait, be more specific, Clown Man. What do you mean? It took 5 gods to stop a single Kings of Angel. You gotta be more specific here. Wait, explain it like explain it like I'm reading volume 1 for the first time and I don't know what I'm saying. Wow. A big 5. He got jumped by the Orthodox deities. Oh, you're right. All the other Orthodox deities that descended were trying to stop him. Wait, does that mean they knew? Wait. So the reason they probably jumped him was because they knew that Amon was probably going to steal his shit. For them to be at that level, they probably would have already known what the error ritual was. So they're like, oh shit, we can't let him come back. They probably don't even want Klein to ascend because even at that point, like, shit, what if he... No, that's not it. Okay. I was like, is that why they jumped him? Because they knew how dangerous it was just him coming back? So it was just because he was corrupted from the cosmos. Got it. Damn. Oh, man didn't even last a chapter. He didn't even last a chapter. I wonder how it would have played out, man, if Bethel was actually in the world now. I'm over here thinking like, oh man, this bitch is easily in book 2. I'm sorry for the profanity. I'm just this excited. For a second, I was like, yeah, this guy is easily going to be in book 2. Like, no, he just died. A god with corruption would destroy the world. Oh man. A god with corruption would destroy the world. Mr. Dor is the potential man of Elohim for real. And then it even said, I remember reading it. Klein suspected, is the apocalypse really just gods going mad or losing control? So in a way, technically yes, because if a god were to lose control, they would just destroy the world. Damn, man, this guy's doing some crazy ass JoJo pose. Fucking Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a good series, man. Oh, I like this. Oh, he's opening a door in his own body and it's revealing the cosmos. Damn. This dude didn't even last a chapter. He was probably so excited to come back and stir up some shit in his world. No. He didn't even last. Damn. I actually kind of feel bad for him. Because I feel like at least when he was conscious in his like half-sane state, like Dor as a god could open the barrier early. Oh, that makes more sense. Dor as a god could open the barrier early and let the GOOs destroy the world. Oh, because technically he'd be able to. I assume he'd be able to open the door and the barrier. He let him parasitize him. He let Amon parasitize him. You think he was like, it's best if he parasitizes me than like, I don't know, is it? Maybe Amon wasn't that cunning because then Mr. Dor just let him. Dude, what the fuck? This guy's cool, dude. I'm actually kind of sad we didn't get more of him. Yes, it was told he agreed to die. Dude, when the fuck was that said? There's no way that was said. That was said? I don't remember reading that. Oh my god, I need to go back and listen to the fucking stream, man. Because I know when I've done it in the past, when I was confused reading something with you guys, when I go back and listen to it, I'm like, oh, I get it. How did I not understand it the first time? But because I'm going at myself at my own pace. Oh, second to last chapter. End of 1354. The sacrifice of Mr. Dor. Got it. Oh, shit. Unauthorized use of this image is... is it okay to use it for a stream? I assume it means like physical distribution. Oh, it's Bernadette with wishing lamp. That's cool. Look at the flames. Mr. Dor. Damn. What the fuck am I... What am I even supposed to use for the thumbnail? Am I using Mr. Dor? I feel like there's some stuff for Amon. Or Adam. Wow, this is really good. This is crazy. I like this one a lot. This one is really cool. I'm back. How's the ending? Love, man. I am so fucking confused, bro. But it's like... everybody's cooked. There's so much. When I was recapping it, I felt like I was somewhat able to digest it a little bit better. But it's like, bro, dude? It's like, how does 8 really get more confusing? There's no shot 8 is more confusing than this. Like, is 8 really more confusing? Bro. See the TikToks on Discord? I think we got time for TikToks. I think we got times. I think we got time. Let me see. Do we have time?
I don't understand a thing in this game, bro. This game has done nothing but just confuse me, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand what's going on.
I've seen this before. Yeah, I've seen this clip before.
I don't understand a thing in this game, bro. This game has done nothing but just
I've seen this clip before. This shit is so funny. Oh, man. I wasn't recording. So I started recording overall thoughts at 2 hours and 33 minutes. And we're at 2 hours and 57 minutes. So about 30 minutes of me yapping was recorded. But I don't know how long ago I paused that. Oh, I know when I paused it. I paused the recording after we looked at the video clip that Cammy sent. Like, this is you. Or this is what you sound like. Oh, that was a while ago. I don't know, man. I think we're going to wrap it up right there, man. That's all she wrote. Too much happened. My head hurts. That was an overwhelming ass fucking finale. I see what Wiz means when he says this is his favorite volume. No, I mean, I see what he means when he says 7 is better than 6. But I was so fucking overwhelmed. And because I cried more in the volume 6 finale, I think 6 is my favorite finale emotionally between 6 and 7. But I can see how 7 is the better volume finale because just so much shit happened. But I feel like I need to re-listen to the stream with you guys for me to truly digest and appreciate 6, 7. 6, 7. Easy was too lost in the sauce to understand the... Yeah, long story short, I was too lost in the sauce to fully appreciate it. Wait, was there a spoiler? I don't know what Void said and there's a spoiler. Did I read it? I don't think I read it. Oh, he deleted 6, 7? Is that what he deleted? Did he get timed out for that? Sit a bit. What the fuck does that even mean, bro? I don't understand this terminology. What's sit a bit? Sit a bit? I don't know what that means. Cameo was not having the 6, 7 comments. And he's like, ain't gonna do. You get a time. That was a pretty long timeout, dude. I'm sorry, Void. We're gonna end the recording while you're still timed out. I apologize for that. Yeah, but only because stream is ending. I mean, I'm not gonna end stream. I'm gonna watch the state of play right now. And we can hang out if you guys want to talk for a little bit. I don't know what time zone you guys are on, but that was fucking insane, man. Oh, all right. I'll let you guys go. Further recording. Have an amazing day. Volume 7 was fun, exciting. And I'll see you guys all for the Volume 8 finale. One big stream, 40 chapters. Should be amazing. Should be crazy. All right. Later, guys. Shouldn't have killed him then. That's okay. Oh, man.